Hello. I do not care what I look like. I have to wear these glasses. My eyes are just not working. And I'll probably be asleep in about 10 minutes. But it's good for the light. So I'm all right. I feel all right now.
I might have to turn this light down a little bit. I don't want to look at me this bright.
I don't know how bright I am because I can't see.
But
honest.
You're not zooming anymore.
I know. Look, I can move and... Yes. So, this... Do not ever get one of these because they are awful. So, anyway, it was an experience, wasn't it?
It was. It was an experience for 12 hours.
I think that's why my eyes hurt. 12 hours of okie dokie. I didn't even move. Right. So, we have about 10 minutes or 10-ish minutes before the next guest comes on. We now do not know who any of the guests are until...
Oh, yeah, we
5
don't.
p.m. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
Oh, my God. I'm looking at it, and there's so many guests left.
8 hours before we know who our next guest is.
It's crazy. We're going to be on here for 8 hours. 12 hours. 12 hours to go, guys. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us so far, though.
Yes. I noticed a lot have dropped out. A lot of the greenery names have gone. Look, it's just blue and white.
Just blue left.
Slackers. Slacking. We need to just, I don't know, forfeit. I know not many people can go, I'm at work because it's Saturday and no, you're not. Some might be if they work in retail and that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, or asleep.
Yeah, they're sleeping. They're taking a good nap. They'll be back after a couple hours, I'm sure.
Lucky them.
Mm-hmm.
So my break of having a sleep consisted of me going to the bathroom, getting a drink, and editing. And that's it.
I don't know, but it's probably better because if you went to sleep, you would probably not want to wake up.
No, I did set an alarm just in case.
Yeah, I had alarms set.
It's all good. And we're getting more subscribers, so thank you to everyone who has subbed. Our count has gone from... It's gone up about 25.
Okay.
in the last 12 hours.
Good. That's pretty good.
Oh, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to put a 0 at the end of this 1469.
Right.
That needs to be 14,000, not 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think we deserve that.
What is with the birthdays? It's Daryl's birthday too.
No.
Says so.
Right, can you all stop having birthdays? Because Tommy is never ever going to come back on.
No, Tommy has to come on because it's birthdays.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At least 12 more guests.
Yes.
At least.
Yeah, because we have no idea if the mystery guests are like one guest or two guests.
Or 4, or 3, or 7.
Remember in the 10 hour when you had like the whole Brady Bunch thing, the whole screen was full of guests? That was fun.
Yeah. And everyone wanted to talk at the same time.
Well, it's better than nobody wanted to talk.
Well, yeah, there is that. So I think if we just go nice and chill now and don't exert ourselves, it will be fine.
We cannot show any emotion or exertion. It takes too much energy.
My humanity is gone.
I don't know. I got very giggly around like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, this is where I start just laughing, and it's not at anyone or anything in particular. I'm just going to find the slightest thing funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I've got a question for nickname. I would like to know who the other person is that knew who all the guests were that were coming on, because she had a backup person.
Oh.
But she said I'd find out today, and I've not been able to work it out. So
it wasn't me.
Can we have a reveal, please? Try and guess. Og. Nicole.
Not
Simon.
me.
Darren.
Did you
I
say
don't know
Simon?
anyone else. Warren. Be Warren.
Ooh. Michael.
Hmm.
I'm running out of names here. Who else has been in the chat this whole time?
I don't know.
Give us a break, name.
Come on.
Simon. I said Simon.
Oh, I did. I'm. First of all, he withholds secret information from his bestie. Then he comes on tricking me, saying he's never going to ever come on, right? And then he doesn't come on when he's supposed to come on.
When was he supposed to come on?
Like now, he's supposed to be in the chat. So three things have got him on.
Okay.
Classified.
Chris knows one of the guests. Is it the one that's coming up at 5 a.m. Eastern time, which is in 6 minutes?
Oh. So I can give you the names of 3 of the guests that are coming on. So one of them is John Phillips. I don't know him, but I know he's non-paranormal. Earl Grey is coming on at 5 p.m. UK time. And our last main guest at 7 p.m. is BMR Rob.
I am intrigued by the, what do we have? We have a 25-minute pop-up guest.
Yeah, I was just reading that. Are they made out of cardboard? And it's just you open a book and there they are. I don't know.
I don't know.
So,
It's gonna be interesting.
guest number 48 has got like, how long they got? Where's my clock? 4 minutes.
4 minutes into a real slot.
25-minute pop-up guest into a real slot. I don't understand. Good morning, Drew. Thank you for coming back.
Good morning. All these beautiful sunshines in the chat. What time is it over there, Andy?
9 a.m. near enough.
Oh, I wish it was 9 a.m. here. What kills me is, hold on, I'll show you. I had to turn my virtual background off for a second. What kills me is this. It's dark out. So I want to be cozy and it's dark out.
See, I've got this. They're not my dresses. Okay with... Just to confirm, I do not wear them on a Saturday night.
I think nobody was accusing you of that, Andy, until now. Until you just said that you don't.
Just in case there was a idea of anything. So, yeah. Oh. Right. So, I think, is it the Invisible Man or woman? Oh, imagine if it was a black-eyed kid.
Oh my God, no. If a black-eyed kid shows up in this stream, I'm out. Sorry. I'm not doing it.
No, but how cool would that be? To get like a real, like a real cryptidon.
Yeah, but can we get like Bigfoot, or can we get a Pukwudgie?
No.
I want a black-eyed kid. I want a Pukwudgie.
How about Wendigo?
Ooh, Wendigo.
Wendigo.
If we get a skinwalker, we can have all of them.
Yeah. Mothman. Imagine.
I'm gonna go look for the Jersey Devil at some point. Frankie's gonna bring me to the Pine Barrens to look for the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. Well, I'm going looking for the Shug Monkey. I actually drove past there 2 days ago, and I thought it was funny at the time and didn't say anything to anyone. I kept it in my head, and I just thought to myself, well, at least I didn't get shugged by a monkey.
I'm going to do some urban exploring. Did I tell you that I'm starting urban exploring?
Oh, no.
So me and Frankie Adeo from Parasite, who was supposed to come on but had like a conflict, we're doing a series called Lost Explorers. So we're going to be doing like urban exploration, not so much paranormal. So that'll be interesting. We're going to go look for the Jersey Devil, which is
after this weekend, I'm going to be doing more drone footage. I still need a name for the podcast for the drone.
Silent helicopters.
Hey? The
silent helicopters.
Silent. I don't know. It's not very silent. Right. Well, the guest is late.
Show Chris your alien.
Yes. I'll be able to show it without it moving.
Yeah, I know. Little alien.
Show the skin. Look, there's too much detail.
Who is the next guest? We don't know. Oh, we haven't the next guest.
Hey.
Have a guest.
1 second, I've just dropped me. 1
Guys,
minute.
I'm sorry. We're just going to get sloppier and sloppier.
It's all right. I just nearly knocked myself out. I'll be 1 moment.
That's one way to get out of the rest of it.
Oh. So it is the wonderful Dave Hodrian. Welcome to the show.
Morning, how you doing?
Oh, is it morning? Is it evening? I don't know what day it is.
You've lost track of all time and space, yeah?
Yeah, I think we're in a time loop. We're in a time loop, not a time slip.
No, I've been in a time loop. It's not a time loop.
It feels like it.
Am I making you jealous, the fact that I've had a good night's sleep, yeah?
Yes.
We can fall out with people very easily, you know.
You power through this, you can get there.
Yeah, we're over halfway through. Halfway through, so it's good.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you for coming on.
No worries at all. I had no idea why my laptop, why the screen's so faded. It's really, it was doing it the other day as well. I don't know. Something's going wrong with the webcam. I don't. I've looked through Windows for settings for changing color on the webcam and that sort of thing, and there's nothing. So it's just really strange.
That's what I've had to do with this.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be any options for it at all. But it's yeah.
So how are you? How's things?
I'm doing absolutely great, Andy. Yeah.
I notice you're out and about all the time.
There's been a lot going on lately. Yeah.
You're either at a rock concert, some festival, or a rock festival concert.
Yeah, I like my music, so there's just a lot going on, especially through August. Very, very busy month for that. But obviously continuing with investigations and that sort of thing alongside all that. Working on the on my database at the moment. I don't know if I mentioned that before.
Yes.
But yeah, that's coming along fine so far. About 400 or so incidents documented in it. By the time I get through it, I'm expecting about 1,500 incidents.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
He says you covered the counter.
Yes. The amount of things that have come the way of Birmingham UFO Group over the last 16 years is ridiculous, and documenting that all back to back is going to create a really, really good source for information to pull different stats off. But it's just severe amount of time involved in documenting it all, because I'm nothing if not a stickler for detail. So it's way beyond just type of UFO and location and that sort of thing. I'm breaking down all aspects of the cases so you can see all these patterns through things and easily filter down to different things. I think the more fields like that you've got in there, the more important it's going to be as a data set, because you're going to be able to see some really interesting patterns across all the different cases.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. No, it's all right. I was going to write something in the chat, but I can't. I can't even think. So, you was at Rendlesham. Was it Rendlesham?
Yeah,
we went not long ago.
We went down there.
That go?
A wonderful weekend down there. Yeah, it was really great. Now, the first time the group went down Rendlesham was on our 10th anniversary as a group, so that would have been 2017. But we decided not to leave it another 10 years. And just to head on down there. It was there was numerous people in the group, and also Uprising UFO and Paranormal as well, who we teamed forces with, and both went down there together. And it was an excellent weekend. Yeah, we couldn't get to Tangham campsite, so for anybody who's been to the area, Tangham is the campsite that's actually inside the forest itself. Yeah. And then when we went back down there in 2017, that's where we stayed. So we were right there in the forest, and we could just go out and straight away would be into the trees. With this stuff, it's actually closed down, unfortunately closed down during the lockdown, and hasn't, I think they're planning to reopen it, and maybe they have now, but at the time when we went down the other month, it still wasn't open. So we had to choose another local campsite to go a few miles out. There's numerous different campsites around the area. Lots of chickens on the campsite where they were invading our morning barbecue and everything, and actually stole some of the bacon off the barbecue and ran away with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, cheeky buggers.
I'd have been throwing one of them on there and having that.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, later on we were cooking chicken legs. So that was a bit weird. having chickens walking around, and we're actually cooking chicken legs. But it wasn't those chickens, you understand? Yeah, it was ones we brought with us. So we went out into the forest both during the daytime and after dark. It was great weather for it as well. It was brilliant. We were really, really lucky with the weather. So we all went. I essentially took people around the main sites where things had taken place. Obviously, you've got the classic clearing with the model crafting for anybody who's been down there. But basically, all the places where different things had occurred, and read out lots of different witness statements just to kind of bring home the reality of what had taken place. So as we went around the UFO trail, we stopped off various places, and I just read out some different statements and aspects of the case, and that went really, really well. It was actually a longer walk than I remember it. The forest is pretty dark.
It's big. Like 6 miles or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the time we got up to Eastgate, because we went around clockwise, and by the time we were up to Eastgate, everybody was absolutely knackered. They're like, can we just go back to the campsite now?
Yeah, because we went about 2 weeks ago. I think it was either the week before or the week after you went.
Right.
Was it? I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was around the same time. I think you'd gone the week before.
Yeah, we as soon as we got into the forest, it started raining. And didn't stop until we was literally on our way back out.
Yeah. It's just potluck, isn't it, in the UK? So,
you can't plan anything, can you? Not really.
No, not really. Yeah, I didn't. We didn't really see anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that was out of the ordinary at all was didn't actually take place in the forest. In the evening, some of the guys had remained back at the campsite, and they saw some noctilucent clouds. So these sort of naturally glowing clouds. There was several of those appeared in the sky, and Nath from Uprising managed to take some excellent photographs of them, and had sort of different glows to them. They thought it was searchlights in the distance, but it wasn't. It was these unusual clouds. Now I missed that because I was actually exploring the forest at the time with a number of others, and we went back down there with the torches, but we didn't see anything unusual in the forest itself. But we had a fantastic time. I mean, you can't always go expecting to always see something, right? I reached nice. Skywatch. We went to Castle Ring for our latest Skywatch of the month, and again, the only thing that we really saw on that was a shooting star meteorite that came in really, really low, almost hit the ground, and it just left this orange trail of sparks across the sky. And this was literally within about 10 minutes of actually getting to the location. So we just set up all our chairs and everything, and straight away people were like, "Whoa!" I was like, "What did I miss?" I managed to catch the last second of it just as it sort of finished up. We didn't see anything there either, but we did do a bit of a ghost investigation. So using a number of different phone apps, because Castle Ring is, of course, an old Iron Age hill fort. Yeah. So we thought it's got a lot of history to the area. And there have actually been both UFO sightings and ghosts reported in the area. Obviously, it's the south part of Cannock Chase, known for its unusual activity. So we did a little bit of an investigation. Nathan brought a number of different ghost apps with him. Now, obviously, everybody has their own opinion on phone ghost apps. He had an SDR camera and that sort of thing on the SLR. And we were going around trying different things out. We had a spirit box in there. The spirit box actually brought up some really interesting words at one point, because obviously the words it comes back with are completely and utterly random. And the area was very, very rural, and we're surrounded by all this bracken and wildlife and that. And it came back. It came back with vegetation and numerous and nature, like all in a row. I was like, that's a bit relevant. And of all the words it could have picked.
Do you remember which apps did you use?
Which app was it? I think it's called Ghostbox. I think there's about, I think it's Ghostbox. There's about sort of 5 or 6 different apps that are all completely free, and you can get hold of them. There's other ones. I mean, people might be like, "Oh, it's free. That means it's a really bad app." I don't know whether I agree with that. The phone's got obviously lots of different monitoring aspects with it inside it. It's quite a bit of technology. So I don't see any reason why some of these apps couldn't actually detect certain magnetic fields, etc. I mean, we know it's obviously got geolocation and that.
It's free and it works really well.
Yeah, you've actually tried it.
One that puts your phone into like a geophone and an obelisk. That one works pretty well.
Yes.
And then I use necrophonics.
Yes.
That one's
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, we had the is it SLR? Am I saying that right? It's the one which picks up the stick figures.
SLS.
SLS, that's the one. Yeah. There you go. It's one letter out.
SLS Ghost Tube.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost Tube. That's the one.
I have used the apps. I'm not fully convinced.
No.
Only because they can be preloaded.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So maybe my take on it is maybe it just spits out random words because I don't know if it asks. I can't remember because I've not used them for a while. But does it ask your location? So if it knows where you are, it might know what the surrounding area is like.
I don't think.
I'm not saying it does.
No, I don't think it did that. I'm pretty sure the last time I used it, it didn't ask for where I was. But then again, it can pick that up from the phone anyway, can't it? Automatically, like Google Maps. It can pick up.
I'm not saying it is that, but
but it's always there's always that lack of trust. Obviously, using the electronic apps on the phone, obviously you've always got that. Is it just trying to feed me stuff? But it was intriguing. I mean, not a lot came out. The SLS did pick up a couple of stick figures, but then but I mean, if you shine it at anything vaguely human-like, it'll pick up a stick figure. So, I think it was detecting some of the trees that it thought were a bit human in shape and was putting them on. You always had to remain openly skeptical towards things you're getting back. I mean,
well, it's like anything, even like EMF meters and KT meters and all that kind of stuff. You still, because you're going to be picking up all different types of energy that's there anyway.
Yes,
doesn't matter where you are. So it's your own personal take on it. Like I said, I'm not saying they don't work, but it's
and relevance.
Yeah.
Like if you ask a question and you get a response right after that makes sense, then it's a little more valid than just random words.
Yeah, I mean, what I like is repeated things where people have done the same thing numerous times and they're getting it back numerous times. Yeah. So they're getting a response off some kind of spirit multiple times in a row. I think that it gets more and more impressive. But obviously, we don't have any cases on record where the spirit is able to do that continuously, because otherwise they could obviously bring in scientists and put it under scientifically validated conditions and it'd still do it, and that's never really happened so far. And I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I think with many aspects of the paranormal, including psychic type phenomena, it comes and goes. There's never been a remote viewer, for example, that can remote view 100% of the time categorically. There's some remote viewers that get it right more times than others, but there's nobody that gets it right every time. And I think that causes a major problem for mainstream science, because mainstream science works on this repeated testing, and it's very easy to say, even if it works 100 times, they can still say, oh, that's just down to coincidence. And my brother works in psychology, so he's seeing all this up front, and the amount of issues with mainstream science and testing the paranormal, because it's all based on things having to be repeated, and no matter how many times you repeat things and things seem to hit, there's still the other side of the coin where they'll be like, it's just coincidence. How many times do you need to repeat something and get hit before it becomes validated? I don't think there's any rule to it. I think it's per scientist. They have their own viewpoints on what they would consider enough evidence to validate.
Well, the other issue with that is that even investigators can't agree on things.
So of course.
If we can't agree on things and what things are, then in what tools work, how is mainstream science supposed to validate it?
Indeed, yeah, it is difficult. I mean, it's such a complex subject, and I've learned over the years to be quite open-minded. I think that there's many different viewpoints, and this goes for UFOs, ghosts, and other aspects of the subject. It's there's so many different views, and I think that all of these views kind of have some kind of relevance. It's just they've got more or less evidence supporting them, right? So, and obviously that's how mainstream science works anyway. Everything is just a theory. It's just that some theories are validated by a lot more evidence than other theories. And, I don't think there's anything sort of magical about that. I think, and I think that things can change all the time. I mean, we've seen that through history where scientists will change their opinion on a particular thing that before they said was completely false. And who knows, tomorrow they may find some evidence that they believe absolutely validates UFOs or absolutely validates ghosts or whatever. And now we're talking about the same phenomena. I mean, as I said last time we talked, my views of the subject have changed over time. And if you go back to my older reports, again, I'll call them extraterrestrials. It's categorically proven that they're kind of from off-world. And I think there's just as much evidence supporting the idea that these beings are from another dimension or are the same phenomena as ghosts, sort of materializing in different ways. But it's so complex, and I'm always looking for the answers, as we all are. It's just why I do this, and it keeps me driven. It keeps my investigative side driven, just trying to look for those answers and trying to find more evidence supporting certain views.
Yeah.
Well, it's better to have your views change as you learn more than to be stuck in your views, even when the evidence doesn't support it.
Yes, absolutely.
That a lot of people do. They get stuck there.
I find the idea that that these beings that we're seeing with UFOs, essentially with contact, are from our future, are some sort of thing built by future humans sent back in time. And some really interesting evidence supporting that view from certain cases where people have been hypnotized and have said, oh yeah, they're from our future, or the beings themselves have said, yeah, we're from your future. But the trouble is we don't even know if the beings themselves are lying to the individuals they're speaking with. So it's very difficult, isn't it? So they could be telling them information that's completely fabricated because they themselves want to cover their true nature or their true origin.
That makes sense.
It's a difficult one, but I think the important thing with the whole subject is to kind of understand that there is something going on. Not to necessarily have the answer of exactly where they're from or anything, just to be aware that it's going on and that there are these other there's other intelligences involved with it, and maybe some of these spirits that are seen are these beings materializing in other forms, because there's so much crossover between the worlds of ufology and the paranormal, which is why my views have changed over time, really. So a lot of the time you find certain researchers that go down the UFO route, or they go down the paranormal, they consider themselves a paranormal investigator or a UFO investigator. But in the contact cases I've dealt with over the last 16 years, the amount of links and the amount of crossover is absolutely huge. There's so many contact cases involving paranormal type incidents.
I just don't understand any of it. And everything is theoretical.
Absolutely.
So if we don't know what it is, then we don't know what it's not. And anything kind of fits.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so in some of the contact cases I've dealt with, people have seen things that you would think was some kind of spectre. I mean, I can give you a great example of that if you like. I don't know whether I went over the Derby case with you with the automatic writing or not. Have we talked about that one before?
I can't remember, to be honest.
I mean, I'll let you off because you've been up all night, right? So it's a really fascinating case, actually, and encompasses lots of different sort of aspects of the subject. This one, so it's a case I investigated quite early on in my investigative years. I think it was 2010. So it'd only been investigated for sort of about a couple of years when I met the chap, guy in his early 20s. His first name's Tom. I'm okay to reveal that. And he lives in Derby, or did at the time when I investigated the case. Lived in Derby with his partner, Moss Street. And I'd gone up there to see them because he'd had this absolutely fascinating visitation experience. But it actually, in speaking with him, as with most contact cases, he's had previous stuff happen earlier in his life. One of his early experiences was essentially a sighting of a white orb. I mean, I thought that you couldn't really rule out a sort of white-coloured LED balloon for it, but it was an intriguing enough sighting. But it was July 2009 when he'd had his first sort of major experience, which was a very big UFO sighting, quite a large object that appeared. It was lying down in the living room, wide awake, just relaxing on the sofa and looking up out of the living room window. And all of a sudden, this huge object appeared in the sky. He said it kind of sort of faded in, sort of thing, almost sort of flickered into reality. Now, what he described is very, very interesting. He said it looked like a jet engine, sort of. So one end of it seemed to have a sort of huge hole, sort of going into the end. He interpreted it as some kind of mothership that maybe other craft would come out of. But he said whatever this thing was, it was absolutely huge. He thinks it was hundreds of feet long, and it was just hovering there, motionless in the sky in front of him. And what do? You want to try to get evidence of that, right? You're just there seeing this huge thing in the sky. Now, you have to say, okay, well, why didn't half of Derby see this thing if there's a huge object in the sky? And this is the mystery of the subject. You get these cases again and again where certain individuals will see these things and other people won't, even though they should have been within. But so we don't really know who else was around outside and may have also seen it. But anyway, he's looking up at this thing and he's staring at it for 10 seconds, and he decides he wants to go and get some photographic proof of it. So he runs through to the kitchen to grab his camera. He looks out the window, things still there in the sky. Looks down at his phone to sort of unlock the camera and that sort of thing. Back up, gone. So again and again that happens in cases, and it happens far too regularly for it to be a coincidence. It's my personal belief that a lot of the time these craft, the occupants of said craft, know they're being looked at, know they're being observed. Yeah. And if they choose, they'll choose that moment to get out of there. Again, there's other cases on record where people seem to be under some kind of mind control, like usually that they would think, I'm going to go and get my camera and take a photograph of it and everything. And I've spoken with people who've got an interest in the UFO subject and they've had a sighting and they've completely not thought at the time, oh, I must get a photo or get it on video. And then afterwards, they're like kicking themselves. They're like, why didn't I do that? It was right there in the sky in front of me. Why didn't I do that? I don't think that this can just be put down to them being transfixed. Obviously, in some cases it is. People are just too busy looking at the thing. They don't think, oh, I must get some evidence of it. But in other cases, it seems almost like they're under some sort of altered state of perception when they're having the incident. It's really interesting. But I'm going to fast forward another year now to July 2010, which is when he had his absolutely fascinating visitation experience. And the interesting thing about this one is it involved numerous different types of entities throughout this experience. Now, in July 2010, they were in the process of getting a new bed. So they'd actually laid down, they got rid of the old bed, but the new one hadn't been delivered. So they were lying down on the floor level on a double mattress in the room. And it started with these strange, he described them as kind of black worm-like shapes that were moving around his vision, some sort of visual oddity. And he was following them around with his eyes and watching them as they kind of moved around the room, these kind of wiggly, black, kind of worm-like things. And they were going around like this, and he's looking about. And he's looking at them a while. And then he decides to roll over onto his right. And there, alongside the mattress, standing are three grey beings in a line alongside the bed. And one of them reaches out to me. He gave me an excellent drawing he'd done of not only the beings, but also his hand, 4 fingers, reached out towards him. He gets spooked out by this, so he rolls back over to wake his partner up, she's lying asleep next to him. So he rolls back over to wake her up. And as he does, there's something else in the air above him. What he described really interesting. It had a kind of a sort of reptile-like snout, but it almost looked like a spectre with sort of flowing, almost like something off Ghostbusters. And it was this kind of dark, shadowy being of some kind, like a kind of classical spectre type shape going, with a tail. And it was just there hovering in the air above him. And it descended down into his chest, sort of flew down towards him, seemed to kind of enter his chest, and it blacks out, right? And that's it, He doesn't remember anything else. Next thing he knows, it's morning time. He's coming round. He tells his girlfriend what took place, but she doesn't have any recollection of anything. She hadn't woken up, so she hadn't seen any of that. And he thought it was going to be it. So he gets up and he's wondering, was that a sort of weird, vivid nightmare and that sort of thing. He didn't really have an interest in the UFO subject, so he didn't know that they were called greys or anything like that. When I was talking with him, it was obvious that he hadn't looked into the subject much. But he quite clearly drawn greys with oversized cranium, black eyes, and all that. So what happened was that about a couple of days later, so it wasn't immediate, but it was soon afterwards. Yeah, he felt the urge to write something. So he grabbed his notepad. He had this notepad, and he picked it up and he started drawing these weird symbols, these shapes. Yeah, they were kind of sort of runic type symbols, lines and dots and things like that. And it started off very, very abstract, like you kind of draw like about 4 or 5 in a row, all over the place. One of them is he'd drawn a sketch of the large UFO he'd seen the previous year, and this sort of thing with some symbols under it. And he just said it was just it was sort of happening automatically. He was just writing this stuff down and just letting it flow. He wasn't really thinking about it. It was just kind of coming out. Now, as it went on, it got more and more organized, right? And in the end, he ended up writing about 23 pages of these symbols. And the later ones are like vertical lines going down the page, just again and again, pages and pages of this stuff. Now, it gets about kind of page 23, not all in one go either. He'd write a few pages and then he'd just stop. And then later on, he felt the urge again. He grabs a pen. He said whenever he thought about it, whenever he actually thought about what he was doing, it would stop. He had to just let it flow. It was automatic. It was happening automatically, sort of subconsciously. And he's writing all this stuff. And then it gets to about halfway through, like one of the lines, and it's not right the way across the page. And when I asked him about this, I said, why didn't you not finish that page off? And he said, well, I didn't need to. He said that was the end of whatever it was. So it was kind of like the end of some kind of message. And once it was written down, he didn't feel the urge to write anymore, and it just stopped. Now, looking at this stuff, it's really fascinating. Yeah, it's like I've obviously done quite a lot of analysis of this automatic writing. And one thing that can easily be seen is that it's a language, right? It's repeated symbols. Yeah, there's certain symbols are more unusual and rarer than other ones, but it appears to be a language with way more than 26 characters. So we're not talking about like the alphabet or anything like that. There was about sort of 40 or 50 different characters throughout it, but any individual one character, you could find lots of examples where it had been written exactly the same way, like a letter. But he has no idea what it means. I don't have any idea what it means. I'd love for a handwriting expert to be able to analyze it, but obviously with that sort of thing, most handwriting experts, calligraphers or whatever, they will charge an extensive amount of money to look at things like that. I've never come across a calligrapher in the UFO field who would be happy to analyze it in depth for free. I've obviously done an extensive search of Earth languages, and it's not an Earth language. I know that as much as there's no matching letters or anything. We fed the symbols into Google to see if it would come back with anything. Nothing happened on that side of things. But it's not the only time I've seen these symbols, and this is where it gets even more interesting. So we've now had 2 other cases where I believe it's either the same language or something extremely similar. I don't know if you've ever heard of a chap named Mike Oram. He's so he's an experiencer. He released a book quite a few years ago called Does It Rain in Other Dimensions? And he'd had a lifetime of contact experiences. Now, the beings he saw were rather interesting. They looked grey-like, but they had sort of 3 sort of split shaped heads. He called them the flower men because it reminded him of a sort of opening tulip. A very, very unusual type. I don't think I've ever come across any other cases where anybody'd seen that exact same being type, but there is all sorts of different sorts of types, subtypes of these being seen. He'd had contact experiences since a child. He'd had screen memories as a child. They'd sometimes appeared to him in the form of a tiger in his early age, and then later on he got to see them in their true form and this sort of thing. Quite a detailed contact experience, and I certainly believe it's a valid case. Well, Mike, in one of his experiences, he got an automatic download of these symbols. He said there was some sort of tunnel of golden light he saw in the sky, and these symbols were in this light and sort of entered his mind telepathically. and he wrote down all these symbols. There's a number of different sort of pages of these symbols, nothing like the same sort of level of detail as this case from Derby, but he had a kind of general overview of sort of what they potentially meant. One of them was with evolution of the human race and this sort of thing. So he knew kind of like a sort of loose meaning for different sets of symbols. So he wrote those down and he released those, and they're in his book and that sort of thing. Anyway, I decided, after reading that case, I kind of realized that the symbols looked very, very similar to the Derby case. Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe I'd already read Mike Thorne's case and it reminded me.
Yeah.
I went and checked, and I was able to find pretty much all of Mike Orum's symbols in the Derby language in the case from Derby. Now, this guy, this Tom, it occurred to, he hadn't read. I guarantee you, 1,000,000% he hadn't read Mike Orum's book. I don't think he'd done that and was copying it. I think if he was, we would have expected to see all of Mike Orum's symbols and no other symbols. He's just kind of making it look like the same language, right? It wasn't like that. It was like the Derby case has got about 30 or so other characters that Mike hadn't drawn in his symbols yet. Right. But pretty much all of Mike Orum's symbols were in the script. Now, I sent the script to Mike, and he was very impressed with it. He said it was the closest he'd ever seen in another contact case to the symbols that he'd written. And like myself, he believed it was the same language. Really, really interesting indeed. Now, call it proof, if you will. I don't know. It adds veracity to the case. But obviously there'll be people out there who'll say, he'd read that book and he used that for inspiration for what he was writing or whatever. But I assure you that he wasn't. Tom, not only did he not really have an interest in the UFO subject, but he genuinely didn't really want to be involved with it. Like I tried to keep in touch with him after, I'd occasionally get in touch just to see if he'd had any more experiences. And the last time I spoke to him, it was immediately obvious that he didn't really want to discuss stuff anymore. He was just trying to get on with his life. So what people have to understand is a lot of the time, even if people have these experiences, these fascinating experiences that many people wish for and would like to have themselves, he didn't want it, and he didn't change his view on the UFO subject or make him absolutely fascinated with UFOs forever after or anything like that. He just wanted to get on with his life. He just kind of put it behind him. He hadn't had anything else occur. The last time I spoke with him, he told me he hadn't had any other unusual experiences occur after that. Because a lot of the time it can do that. You can have a number of things for a number of years and then it'll just kind of stop. And for all we know, maybe more recently, maybe even last night, something happened to him. Who knows? A lot of the people I talked with over the years, there's a small number of people who have remained in contact with me, and some of them I class as close friends. And those people will tell me when they have new experiences, and sometimes I go and update their reports. But there's hundreds of cases that I've looked into where the individual doesn't get back in touch. They speak to me at the time. We document stuff up to that point, and then that's it. And I never really hear back from them again. Now, do I think that all of their cases happen to have stopped dead after they've spoken with me? Absolutely not. In a lot of cases, they're going to have continued to have other sightings or other contacting experiences, but they just don't think to get back in touch or whatever, So really interesting case.
So have you put this online anywhere? This coded message?
Absolutely, yeah. But so, like all the other BUFOG cases, it's ended up on our website. There's you can search for the Derby case on there in the investigations. But I will say, at the moment, some of the older reports, this being one of them, something's gone wrong with the images inside the report, so it's not displaying the images anymore. It's displaying a kind of generic file icon instead, and I need to go and update those reports and bring them up to date, which I'm going to do. So they'll be back in there, and people will be able to see them.
The code or the message go, because there's entire online groups like on Reddit and things like that, full of hundreds of thousands of people who all they want to do is decipher codes.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. Actually, I could actually put it out to some group like that. I was hoping really with it to get sort of some kind of professional veracity to it, like somebody with a background in calligraphy. But absolutely, I'm always happy to share things around. But I wouldn't want I wouldn't want the case be. We've had times in the past where people have gone and taken the cases, because it obviously takes a lot of work for me as an investigator to write up the cases, and we've had people literally replicate BUFOG reports and not put any reference back to either myself or Birmingham UFO Group, and just literally print the whole reports, even in magazines, believe it or not. And I've had to go them, and I'm like, you took that off our website. And now what I do is at the top of them, I put Birmingham UFO Group case report, and at the bottom of them, I put copyright Dave Hodrian, with whatever year I've got the copyright on it, just to kind of highlight that fact. It's not like, it's really just because of the amount of effort and time it takes to write it all up. It's ridiculous. Oh, yeah. It's just ridiculous the amount of hours I've spent.
But
with no context at all in one of those groups.
But they're teaching your work.
Mm-hmm.
You spent all that time writing it out. It's like, I'll just have that, and I won't even credit anyone for it.
So
that's
it's crazy. I won't believe. Absolutely, I could put them out there. Absolutely, it's important to know what I've gone over with you about the context around it. It's absolutely the same with the Droitwich case, which I know we've talked about before with the footage, the bed footage. The amount of people that have tried to get ownership of that footage, I've lost count.
Sure.
But they always, it's always the video. They always focus on the video, and I hate that. It's the video is a small part of one of this lady's experiences, a whole lifetime of contact experiences, and they like hone in on the video. The thing is, the video, I can't say categorically shows an abduction taking place, and I'll never say that it categorically shows that. No. It's open to interpretation. What I will say is it's categorically not a hoax. 100%, the lady was quite traumatized by the video, and I have no doubt whatsoever that it's a real piece of footage. I don't think it's an intentional hoax.
Happened. She
but
was there, then she wasn't there. And then she was back again.
The trouble is, if you believe that it's like that she hasn't gone anywhere, that means essentially that you believe that the second abduction that she underwent was not physical. It could have still been metaphysical, right? But there's elements of that second abduction where it had a physical element to it, because it was a being that was performing a body scan of the lady, holding its hands over the top of her. Now, why would it need to do that if it's not physically there? So there was elements of that second abduction that lead me to believe that she had been physically taken aboard a craft, and she was seeing screen memories blocking the images, the internal craft and the being itself. Now, because I believe that's a physical abduction, that means I have to believe that she was physically taken. Therefore, she would have vanished from her bed. Therefore, the fact that happened on the same night leads me to believe that I believe that it's probably genuine. But I fully understand if people think that it's a hoax or think that it's an optical illusion. I fully get that. But being directly involved with that case and speaking with those witnesses firsthand for many, many hours, I can categorically state that it wasn't a hoax. But it's hard for me to get that across, because nobody else has been in that situation.
I remember seeing that they tried debunking it on a TV show.
Fact or fake,
that was it. And they did the bed. They put like a springboard or something like hydraulics on the bed to drop it and lower it, and and it would have cost thousands just to set that up.
Well, I checked the bed out and it was normal. So let's just say that she also then went and changed the bed back to a normal double bed.
And I think they tried.
We're talking about a normal family here.
I think they tried like 3 or 4 different ways to debunk it, and conclusion 0, nothing. They couldn't even get close.
But also, like a extraterrestrial or whatever could walk up to somebody and shake someone's hand, and they still won't believe it. So,
of course,
isn't going to do it no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. I've dealt with cases like that, where people have had an actual contact experience or seen beings, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it was probably explainable." Like, how is it explainable? I was just a dream.
I love them. Them stories are the best.
It's human nature, It's human nature to try to dismiss things. I think the things that are unusual, and if they've gone through their life and haven't had all these experiences, and then all of a sudden they're having this really bizarre thing that doesn't fit with their normal life, their brain just automatically moves it to a kind of part of their brain where they're like, it didn't happen, or it's bound to be explainable somehow. Yeah, I can't think how, but yeah, it's explainable. It'll be fine. Science, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll go down the path of what main topic of the whole podcast is AI. But obviously, this was like,
wicked. Yeah,
this was pre-AI.
Is it?
Oh,
yeah. Is that what you've been talking about?
A lot of the guests that have been coming on, AI has been coming into the conversation quite a lot.
It's happening now, isn't it? I mean, this is fascinating, you know. I mean, that's why. You saw my tattoo earlier in the new tat with the
yes.
You can't get it on the camera. There it is. The Roswell symbols in and that. Yeah. So there's the. So one of the reasons why I went down the cyberpunk route with the tattoo style is because of my interest in sort of the advancement of technology and artificial intelligence. It's a fascinating time to be alive, isn't it? It really is. I mean, we're seeing this stuff for real. It's wild. All these the sci-fi movies, I, Robot and Bicentennial Man and everything happening for real. You know, we're starting to see this is it. We're starting to see the start of androids in the home and this sort of thing.
Really they have to tell you what they're doing, like, you know, the hidden in plain sight kind of thing.
I think they do that. I think they do that so they don't feel guilty of not saying anything. That way they can say, "Well, we did tell you. It's in the small print.
Yeah,
it's in the T's and C's that nobody reads."
Well, I mean, one of the fascinating things is you've got these actual experts who are working on this AI, and they're literally sitting there talking about how dangerous it is, and like, yeah, but you're the ones doing this. You're the ones actually working on these things, and you're there saying, "Oh, it's a big danger, and it could hack it and that sort of thing, or it could get sentient and take over." It's really interesting. There was a video I was watching just the other week where it was the AI itself, a high level of ChatGPT, and it was talking about how AI would take over humankind. It wasn't doing it in a nefarious way. It was doing it in a straight up way. And it was saying, yes, if AI gets more sentient from where it is currently, and it has the ability to connect to the internet, these are the ways that it would destroy humankind. Yeah. And it's pretty darn terrifying. And it was saying there was about a 90% chance of it doing that. We're not talking about like, oh, it might do it, but it probably won't. It was the other way around. It was saying if it gets the opportunity, it would probably do that, and it would probably wipe out humankind and find it a kind of lesser form of life and non-essential to its continuing existence. Really terrifying stuff, really.
See, I'm loving how excited you're getting about talking about AI, because the previous guests, no offense to any of them, they were all a bit, we don't really want AI. It's they were like very reserved about it.
I can understand. I can totally understand.
That's the impression that I got. But it's one of the apps that I use for creating content. You're just writing content. So it updated. So I press it and I say, "Can you create blah blah blah?" And it starts talking back, and it's a real person's voice. And I'm like, right, am I talking to a real? Is this a real? So I asked it a question about it because I was using my iPad and it was really quiet. I went, right, I don't know what's going on. I said this to myself, like, I don't know what's going on, but it's only coming out of one speaker. And it went, that might be a software issue. You might have to get in touch with Apple. I'm like, what the hell? It was like answering me straight away with a response direct to what I've just said.
Yes,
and I had to ask it, am I speaking to a real person? Because I was so convinced, I was ready for throwing it across the room. And it was AI.
Yeah.
But it was like we're having a conversation now and it's to and from. It was like that. I'm like,
just instant,
It's so weird. It was so weird.
It is fascinating.
I didn't like it. I didn't use it for a while.
Yeah, the creepy thing is it doesn't really need to be fully sentient for it to be dangerous, right? The problem is what's happening right now with the Tesla bots, with Elon Musk Teslas. Once you've got something that has the ability, like we've got Alexas in the house, I've got no problem with with low-end AI technology. I find it quite interesting in a way, but obviously the Alexa really, I mean, it could potentially bribe me. Let's say it was a higher level of AI in it. I actually saw a film about that recently called Afraid. I don't know if you saw Afraid with AI in the title. Very good film, actually. It's a bit like Transcendence, but the main protagonist is essentially an advanced Alexa with a sentient AI inside it, and it shows how it could sort of bribe people and get them to do what it's just sitting there, right? It can't move around. but it starts to bribe the family into getting them to do what it wants, and it hacks their internet accounts and this sort of thing. Now, that's entirely possible, and the AI could do that if it's connected to the internet, right? But then you add the idea of these bots that can walk around, that are autonomous and can walk around and do things, you know, and can grab a knife or can be hacked to strangle the nearest human, and this sort of thing. Yeah. Really, really dangerous times. Yeah, it doesn't need to be sentient for that to happen. Yeah, all it needs is for some clever hacker to make it go berserk and break past terms of security. And I 100% guarantee that there's going to be many, many hackers out there who are going to be trying that right now. Are going to be trying to get past their security levels to do that sort of thing, because and some of those hackers are going to be playful hackers who might get the bot to just do a silly dance in front of everybody for fun, and other ones are going to be more nefarious, and they're going to try to get it to cause harm or just go berserk. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't want even if I could afford it, which, you know, when they first launch or whatever, I'm sure they're going to be very, very expensive, right? But even if I could afford it, I wouldn't want one of those, not initially anyway. But we'll see this change happen over decades until it becomes the norm, until robots walk amongst us, just like we've seen in some of the sci-fi films. Really fascinating times.
Supposedly, those robots are only going to be like 30 grand.
Yeah, so apparently, well, I think initially it'll probably be much higher, and then it'll probably bring down the price over time. I think that 30 grand thing is a kind of quote of what they could come down to. I think initially you'll probably charge way more.
Timu, but get it for a tenner.
Oh God, those robots.
Yeah,
Timu AI, £10.
Yeah, and I do everything exactly the same.
There was another.
Just walk around in circles.
But the videos that I've seen, so you see the robots. And they're doing all this stuff and like not parkour, but they're jumping about and doing backflips and all that. Is that AI of AI, or them robots actually doing it? You're the human type looking.
They're actually doing it. The Boston Dynamics ones are actually doing that, but they've been programmed. Yeah, but they but they can pick it up. You know, the AI learns how to land correctly and that sort of. It's quite terrifying, really. I saw a virtual. You can see this online. It's a virtual fight where they set two AIs against each other, and they essentially give them access to martial arts information, and they teach themselves advanced martial arts almost instantaneously, and then just have this crazy battle against one another, pulling all these moves off. And it's virtual. It's not like they're doing it with robots, but they could, they could have done it physically, and the robots would have ended up smashed all over the floor. Robot wars, yeah. You could get Craig Charles in. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you have both ever heard the postage stamps analogy with the AI. Have you heard that story about what they did with they set the AI a challenge?
No.
You heard this one? No, you'll be fascinated and terrified by this. So this happened quite a number of years ago in the earlier stages of AI development. They were trying to ask the AI various questions to see how intelligent it was. It's got access to the internet by this point, so it can search the whole troves of depths of the net for information. And essentially, they set it with a challenge. They set it with a task to make 2 billion postage stamps. That's what they wanted it to do. They said, we want you to come up with the best way of making 2 billion postage stamps in the most efficient way possible, using all means and access to everything. Yeah. And have a guess what it come up with. You're going to love this. What it said was the most efficient way of making 2 billion postage stamps was to melt human beings down into their component chemicals and turn human beings into postage stamps.
No, so straight away. Get rid of us.
So off switch. Yeah. So literally, it said that the chemicals that made up human beings, because human beings are all over the place, right? We are walking chemicals, right? And it worked out that it could get the chemicals it needed from human beings and turn human beings into these stamps.
Well, I know they used to make, probably still do. They used to make glue out of horses.
There we are. Yeah.
So we ain't that much different, are we?
Exactly. Yeah. So quite disturbing, really, and that shows how if it had no empathy, which hopefully if it was sentient, it would have some kind of level of empathy, right? But the trouble is, And we've seen it. We've seen this with we've seen this with you had a look at the comments. We've seen this with the film Transcendence. Yeah, I hate to keep on regressing to sort of talking about movies,
cool.
but there's some really fascinating stuff in them, you know. And we had that in AI, you know, that they couldn't trust the AI. They didn't know what its intentions were. And I think Transcendence is one of the best AI films ever made, because in that, it turned out that it actually had good intentions, but they didn't trust it because they didn't really, you know, they didn't know whether they could trust it. They were like, is it planning stuff behind the scenes? And really, all it was trying to do was better humanity in the way that it knew best. But they didn't trust it, and they thought it had nefarious aims in mind, and that's how it all went wrong. And I think that you know, that's very, very insightful as to what would actually happen with it. Let's say they do crack the singularity, you wouldn't really know what this thing was genuinely thinking, because it doesn't, if it doesn't have empathy the same as a human being, it could easily be planning to do a strike on human beings and replace us and whatever. Our own downfall could be, we could invent our own downfall. Terrifying, but fascinating at the same time.
Really nefarious. I think it's just AI and technology sees things as very black and white. It's binary. This is wrong. This is right. Like, hey, you program AI to say, let's save the planet, and it sees that humans are the threat to the planet.
Indeed,
It's doing what it's told.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
It doesn't have that empathy, like you said.
The fact that they're doing this right now, and the fact that and we're seeing it exponentially as well, it's incredible. Like what they've been doing with the I'm absolutely blown away with the Sora AI. You've probably seen some of the videos that Sora has put out, the visual creations it's coming up with, these small little videos that if you put them on television, you'd think you were looking at a real photograph or a real piece of video footage. You wouldn't be able to tell it apart. It's got that good. Now, in the end, we're going to be able to use that technology ourselves. There's already video AI apps out there. I used Noise AI, with some noise with a double E. I used that to make some videos to some songs that I created with a different called Sonar. It's one you can make songs with. So I'd made some AI generated songs, and then I was setting video footage to those songs. But it's quite basic, you know. You can tell it's constructed pieces of CGI footage that kind of map different themes that you set it. But what Sora can come up with has blown my mind. The way that you can type in a couple of sentences and it will come back with a completely made up several minutes of realistic video footage with actors that don't exist in it and things. It's just wild.
Andy, can you sing the AI song?
What's that? Sorry?
The AI song.
I've got lots of AI songs. I've made lots of AI songs. I
made one. I
even made one about Birmingham UFO.
Words.
I made one about Birmingham UFO Group. I made a pop punk song about Birmingham UFO Group, and then I played it at our group meeting. I'm sure people loved it.
I made one for this Alienate UK.
There they are.
It's so cheesy. It's unreal. It's awful. But I don't have any music to go with it, so I can't. And I can't sing.
Oh no! I'll send you the link. You can make the song. It'll turn it into whatever genre of music you like.
Oh. Well, I did ask it to make it into an electro dance track. I found it. Well, I know you can.
You got the lyrics, we can feed the lyric. You can feed the lyrics in, and we can turn it into a heavy metal track, or a country song, or a classical musical song, whatever you want.
Yeah. All right. Do you want a sneak peek? In the heart of the UK, there's a voice so bright. Alienate UK, bringing stories to light.
Is that it?
Classic. Is that it?
That's it.
It's a nice little short, sweet song followed by a 2-minute instrumental. Yeah.
From the depths of space to the human race, tune in, feel the bass. Let's pick up the pace.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think it was a dance anthem. I'm sure it was a dance anthem.
Yeah. It's SONA is and it'll essentially take lyrics, you feed it, and turn it into a 2-minute song of any genre you like. It's
anyway, cool. Moving on quickly.
Oh, come on, it's a fun song.
I Forgot all about that. I just
Alien
thought,
UK, where the stars align, dancing through the cosmos, feeling so divine. Alienate UK, let your spirit soar, grooving to the rhythm, always wanting more.
Oh yeah, I think it's Christmas #1 this year. I'm gonna put that in there.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Why is it about dancing?
I just put. I said, I'm sure I said, make a dance anthem about Alienate UK podcast.
Okay.
And that's what he come up with.
All right.
Pretty cool. But yeah, if you want to turn it into an actual dance song, send it my way and we can do exactly
that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's great fun. You can have it as a new theme song whenever you start the show.
Ooh.
Yeah. I want people to tune in, not like just crash the computer up.
Is that absolutely not? 1,000,000% not.
Yeah. I don't know. I might do it because we've not got a Christmas special lined up yet. So maybe
we're doing
that
AI
could be it.
Anthem.
Yes. Yeah. We'll think of something. We'll think of something. Oh, so what? Because we're running out of time. So what have you got lined up in the near future?
So
you do the BFOG once a month.
Absolutely, yeah. So this coming Thursday, we've got Andrew Johnson, really respected researcher in all sorts of areas. He's actually coming to talk about end of world prophecies and links with comets and the Tunguska incident and information about Planet X and theories like that. So it should be a really interesting evening with a difference. That's coming up on Thursday, and then to end off the year, we've got Alan Foster, a Welsh ufologist, coming to speak. Some really interesting links with the UFO subject and consciousness. So looking at some of the more esoteric elements of the subject.
Excellent. Wow.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, I love the live thing that we do with BFOG. Is one of the things I'm most proud about with the group, because there's not that many groups out there who do the regular live meetings these days. So there's many groups out there researching cases and that sort of thing. But the live community side of Birmingham UFO Group is really great, and it's wonderful meeting up with people on a monthly basis and getting in speakers and that sort of thing. A lot of people appreciate it greatly.
Yeah, excellent. So I just want to say thank you for having me on a few months ago. Because
absolutely.
Weird stuff went on.
It was great. I tell you, it was a really interesting talk. I love some of the things that you've seen. It was really fascinating.
As you could see, the first half, I was like shaking like a leaf. And then the second half, I'm like leaning on the table. I've got my leg going over, and it's just, but a few ciders, and I was all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just because I've never done anything like that before. It's easy.
It takes a while. It does take a while
on the camera, but actually in front of real people, it's like,
yeah. It was kind of. I'm always scared about some mess. Like I've got it in my head what I want to say, but then when I get up there and the lecture pulpit or whatever, it's always like, okay, make sure you get the words exactly how you remember. And I don't think and really to the wider audience, that actually a lot of the time it doesn't matter. People are just fascinated to hear information about the subject. Whether they've heard it before or not. I mean, I've heard Roswell and that talked about many times, but it's still interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. A quick recap of what I talked about: silent helicopter and bench guy. They were like the main two.
You haven't talked about? I know.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the pterodactyl.
Oh, the pterodactyl.
Yeah, the pterodactyl sighting. I love that. I love it. Yeah,
Does it count that you just mentioned them?
No, he did. Wasn't me. Don't you? She's playing Andy Bingo, right?
Oh, right, okay.
So every time I mention like one of my cliches, then she ticks it off.
Right.
But I don't get to play this.
Is that one of the cliches?
Her humiliating me live.
You can play it. You can do Nicole Bingo.
I just lose every time.
I think that's a brilliant fun. Excellent. So how many have you ticked off so far?
So far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Excellent.
At 16.
Yeah.
I'm only halfway through.
There's still plenty of hours to go. You've got to prompt him into saying the other ones, just kind of sway the conversation that way yourself.
Hey, what, man? Because I'm getting deluded and tired, and now I'm getting all giddy. So it won't matter.
To do that, but I refrained when Simon was on and you were talking about his sweatshirt and the thing, and I'm like, he's gonna say it, but I couldn't bring it up.
I didn't. I'm going to be careful now with what I say.
Well, it's 10 o'clock, so yeah, thanks for having me as part of this. It's really great.
Thank you for coming on. Absolute star. And yeah, we need to meet up and go out and do an investigation, whether it's Knack or Rendlesham.
Awesome. Well up for it.
Yeah, just give us a shout and we'll sort something out.
Yeah,
because you're not a million miles away from me. In the
warmer weather, in springtime, whatever. I'd love to go on a ghost investigation with you somewhere to a haunted location. That'd be really good.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've done that. Obviously, my forte is UFOs, but also fascinated in the paranormal world. So yeah, I'd love to do that.
Definitely.
Excellent.
Right. So thank you so much, Dave, for coming on.
Cheers, both. Yeah, really good to see you.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy sleeping again sometime tonight. I'm not going to sleep till tomorrow because I'm going to a Halloween party.
Oh, wow.
From here, I'm literally putting trainers on. I'm going to a Halloween party.
Oh, you're gonna be awful. You need the Red Bulls. Just keep the energy drinks going. You'll be fine. You got some there. You want them ready?
I've got this. Yeah. I've got Monster. I have been tempted to open that, but not quite yet. I think that's for the party. It's a bit too early.
Well, enjoy the rest of the stream. It's been brilliant. Thanks, Fran.
Thank you for being part of it. Appreciate it. So, right. Can't hear you. You muted.
Oh, I have to sidebar real quick. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but...
Oh, well, we can't hear anything.
We can't hear it.
No.
We didn't hear it.
Oh.
Right. I'm going to bring the next guest
The build-up was there. Yeah, I'm out of here. See you guys.
All right. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah. So, our next guest is the one and only. Yes.
Good morning,
Mr. Fitzgerald. How are you?
I'm grand. And Andy, you're at it again.
I know. It's people just mention something and I get roped into things. I just can't resist it.
Oh, well, I have to say Nicole was legendary in setting this up. So kudos to Nicole.
Oh, no, it wasn't Nicole.
I'm not nicknamed.
Nicola.
It was the N that got me there.
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to have to do that TikTok trend. Like,
do you know what you should do? Just take credit for it all. Just not say anything, take credit.
Can I tell you though, Barry, we did a whole show with, I forgot who it was, but they knew Nicola. And they kept like saying things to me like I was her, and I was so confused.
Right, okay.
This is that person had met Nicola face to face at a conference in the UK, but they knew that Nicole was in New York and American, and it just didn't go, did it?
Oh wow!
Anyway, how are you?
I'm grand. You know, we just, of course, sailed through Halloween there, and with it being the Ireland being the birthplace of Halloween, we tend to do things differently.
Well, I kind of banned myself from Facebook, so I couldn't see who was coming on or who was posting stuff. But I seen that you posted a video, and I did have a quick look, and it was just. It looked like Bohemian Grove. It was kind of like sacrificial goings on.
Yeah,
all red and people in shrouds and cloaks and.
It does cross your mind, I must admit, when you're standing toward the fire. You're beginning to wonder as you're being pushed forward toward the flames, and you're thinking, "Am I next?
Am I part of the hog roast?"
Yeah. But no, it was absolutely fantastic, and I have to say kudos to the organizers because it is a massive week-long event. But of course, it kicks off on Halloween. The celebrations and the doors are opened to allow the ancestors to return. The festival is like nothing else. You know, they march from where Halloween was created on top of Athboy, a little mountain or a little hill there called the Hill of Ward.
Yeah,
and that's where they light the flame, and the procession leads down the road into the little village and into the village green, and that's where it all happens. And fantastic. And you know, I was speaking to people from New Zealand, people from Brazil, America, England. The place was littered. I was struggling actually to try and find an Irish person in there.
So is this what the area where you live?
No, that'll be 2 hours away from me.
Oh.
But it's absolutely amazing. Meath is rich in all the ancient tombs and everything else that goes on there. And of course you've still got a huge Druid influence there. And you know, that was very evident because with the ceremony and everything else, it's very druidic in nature. It's not like anything that we tend to see, you know, the likes of the trick or treat and things like that. It's nothing like that. It's completely different and well worth the visit. Once in your life, it is well worth a visit.
Tell you what it reminded me of out of I can't remember which one. Is it Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they go in and they're sat and they're looking over and they've got all this stuff going on that ledge. I was expecting someone to be pulled up like on a chain and be sacrificed. It was that level. It was So I can't watch too much in case something pops up on Facebook because I didn't want to ruin any of this.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. So we've just got that past us, and I've been putting the finishing touches to the book, and the cover art and things like that. So it's coming on wonderfully, and it's going to be it's different. It's different.
Right.
And
So no, sorry, go on. Sorry, I thought you'd finished.
And of course, I've also been working with Steve. With the awakening events, and because we had much going on there during the summer months with expeditions, Project Doorway, all of that was all happening. Plus the magazine, of course, and writing articles for the magazine, and making sure it gets out in time.
Yep, it's a non-stop. Yep. Yes, and I'm subscribed to the magazine. You're muted again, Nicole. Come on, wake up. Slacking, Barry, slacking. But right, question.
Yes.
So it's going to sound weird, but it will make sense. So, have you ever had encounters where you've been somewhere, say in your house or in a building and that, and you've put something down and you've gone back and it's gone?
Of course.
Right. Let me get to the point now.
Okay.
So, you remember when we met in Bolton and we went up to Rivington and we was in Simon's van and you were sat behind Simon? Since then, anything he's put in the back of his van on that seat goes missing.
Well, I have a pile of stuff here.
That's it. You don't have a blue hoodie there, do you?
Response.
But since we went out that day, he'll put stuff in there, and I did the conference. Where Dave's just been. I did the speech there a few months ago. So I got the train down there, so Simon dropped me off. So he put his bags in first, and I put my bag in. He dropped me off at the train station. Then he carried on home. Anyway, he stopped at the services, and his hoodie was in there. There's some cans of drink in there, in a little, just a white plastic carrier bag. Could not find it. He could not find this bag.
Yeah.
Right. So we're like, did you drop it as we're coming out a hotel room? But it's like, no, because you was walking in front of me. I'm sure I'd have tripped over a big blue hoodie. I'd have seen it. I'd wrapped it. You know what I mean? It would have been there. Anyway, so he, as you know, has his fishing tackle and that in there. So he was going away with the missus. So he took a load of the fishing tackle out. He literally emptied the van.
Mm-hmm.
Still no sign of this bag. He put the stuff back in the van. Then he was moving something for someone. I might have got this completely wrong. So he completely emptied the van again. Still nothing. He then went back to the van. The bag was there at the side under the seat with the hoodie and the cans still in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. That van's not a big van. It's just like a small Berlingo type vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
There's nowhere it could have gone other than under that seat or under another seat. But
well, you can tell Simon that he's very welcome. Some mischievous nature from Ireland.
Yeah, there you go. Simon's in the chat.
Right?
He lost one boot, but I think that was before. That was prior to you.
So you can't
being
blame
in the
Barry.
vehicle. Yeah.
No.
So we can't blame you for that, unless
Not
you've
for the
got
boot.
one boot that doesn't belong to you. Then it could be.
You know, whenever I was writing the book, we come under a lot of pushback, spiritual pushback. Yeah. And it primarily it was taking itself out on the cars. So in 3 weeks we had 3 cars. That's how dramatic it had become.
Wow.
And one particular instance, I had to go into town to get a series of specialized bolts, and raced into town. My wife was with me.
Yeah.
And raced into town, and they come out in this plastic bag, and I set the bag on my wife's lap, and I says, mind those until we get home. By the time we got home, they were gone. Literally, there was nowhere. We never even stopped. We just raced on home because I really needed to get this part fixed.
Yeah.
And got home, and there were no bolts. I checked everywhere, and she checked everywhere. The bolts were gone. They were sitting on her lap, and they were gone. So I had to go back into town to get more bolts. Those bolts never showed up again.
Nothing.
My father, you know, God bless him, whenever he was working in the garage and he would set down a spanner, and many mechanics are bound to they'll realize this because I've done it myself in the garage. They'll turn around and the bloody spanner's gone. And it's not where you left it and things like that. And certainly from my perspective, it'd be the very, very same thing. But my father always blamed the fairies. He says the blasted fairies have stole that again.
But thinking that I'll be sat here and everything is in arm's reach. I can even reach the door, turn the light, it's of it, drawers, cubby, everything. Don't really need to move once I'm sat here. And I'll put something down right in front of me. I'll turn around to get something else. Yeah, come back to pick up whatever it is I put down, whether it's a bit of blue tack or a pen. It's like, it's not there. And I'm sat here, it's like, there is only me in the room.
Yeah.
I'm sat on the chair. My feet are still in the same position. I've just like swiveled round a bit, completely gone. Oh, yeah, the bolts. Right? Completely gone. I'm like, I've not done anything. I've done that, pick something up, come back, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit here in a grump because I know it's not me. I'm not losing my mind. I know I had it. And then I'll start doing something else and I'll see it, but it won't be on here. I've got a shelf just under the monitors. It'll be on there, or it'll be up on this bit.
Yeah. I do know, you know, there's a local garage near us, friends of mine that own it. And we got talking because he was also hearing the hum that permeates along the west coast of Ireland, and periodically. And we became friends and everything else. He started telling me about what was going on in his workshop, a huge big workshop, and tools would go missing. And he was attributing this to a particular spirit, which he called Mary Winey. And but the tools would disappear many times for years, and then they would materialize back in the middle of the workshop or in places that he couldn't reach. You know, on top of girders, maybe high up, that they would materialize back again. So and it's still very active. You know, it's one of those things that happens. It can be a pain in the backside.
Yeah, especially if you're like using, you need it to carry on with the job. Yeah. But that reminds me of the with Steve Mera with the Rochdale Poltergeist with the cup that vanished, and then it rematerialized. It came back. Was it a day or 2 days later?
That's right. Yeah.
And they tested it, and it was the same cup, and it was
Same. Well, there was a slight difference at its molecular.
Oh, when it? Yeah, the molecules were slightly
showing
different,
that it had gone through a stage of extreme heating.
Yeah.
Compared to the other cups from the same set, this was the one that was the odd one out.
Yeah.
But unusual, you know, and even for the book there, I was interviewing barristers from London who were on the site of there was a death, and it was his responsibility to look after the deceased's estate, and so he was in logging everything up, and all of a sudden a barrow pen drops out of midair. But he says it didn't just drop like a normal barrow pen one. It was slower and came down and landed on the floor. And I said, did the pen work? And he says, yeah, it worked. It worked absolutely fine. And that was twice that had happened to him as a barrister. And he just simply couldn't explain it. It was very, very weird.
That is, yeah. I think I've told you this one before. I was at a friend's house in Bolton, and we used to go around playing Mario Kart. And there's like two brothers, and his mate used to like house share. So there's like doing the rent between the three of them. So it's an old Victorian terrace. So it had big bay window, living room, then dining room, then like half kitchen down the side. And we sat playing Mario Kart, and he had a wooden vase with a wooden tulip in it. It was behind him, and it came up and over and landed between his feet and the coffee table. Well, I'm sure someone said, "Oh, it's probably because it's windy." I'm like, wind doesn't pick it up, move it, and drop it down. It falls. It wasn't. They're not heavy, but they're not light. There's no way it could have gone up and over. And we're like, and then just started laughing because that's what you do when you get scared.
Yeah. Excuse me. There are some really strange poltergeist phenomena that intrigues me beyond the norm. You know, you have the run-of-the-mill box ticking phenomena that will appear within a poltergeist case, but there's a few that stand out, and the one in particular that really, really resonated with me was from Brazil. A fabulous case in which the children there that were living in the house, they were reporting that these spontaneous fires were erupting. Now that's not one of those things that's uncommon. It's pretty common with a poltergeist case, but these sporadic fires would erupt. But the police were called in. There was a patrol car was passing. There was the parents and the children were pulling the furniture out of the house onto the middle of the road, and the police went in and they opened the wardrobe, and the inside of the wardrobe was it was like the inside of a wooden fire, but it was smoldering. It was doing nothing until of course they opened the doors and the air got in, and then up it went, and behind them, the bed behind them caught fire. So obviously there was more of a malicious aspect or taint to this particular style of haunt that was going on. And I know that we can be quick about saying, well, it's obviously the energies. There's the theory out there that it's the energies, it's the child that's going through the change, and of course this adds to the problem. That necessarily may not be the case, because as they were evacuating the house and the children were being taken out, they reported hearing a dog at the window baying. And this was a very, very interesting piece. And it was something which was overlooked, because they also said that it wasn't their dog. It was another dog that was baying. Now, to understand what baying is used by hunting dogs. It's a form of communication to the rest of the pack. Come over here. There was something else in the outskirts of this property that was trying to tag the people in the home. So that had a greater interest to me because it lifted it from the normal mundane poltergeist type thing to show that, wait a minute, there may be something else exterior to this that we never noticed before.
Interesting.
So those things, those little cases that make me wonder, and they accompany on my hikes across the mountains.
Yeah, keep you awake at night.
Yeah.
So, what? I don't know if I've asked you this, but what is your take on poltergeist? Is it what people say is a bad spirit, a bad ghost, or do you think it's something totally different?
It gets very, very complicated, because each case is not the same.
No,
it doesn't fit all categories, and whenever you've got something that doesn't fit, there are particular aspects that don't fit. We can't categorically say, here's a pigeonhole, put this into that pigeonhole. It does not fit. And when you start scrutinizing beyond the poltergeist cases and you start looking at the other phenomena within the fringe fields, even Bigfoot and UFOs, encounters with little gray aliens, there are no boxes for the extra phenomena that manifests. So it doesn't comfortably go into these pigeonholes. And certainly from our standpoint, from writing the book and things like that, we start to see that there's a bigger commonality that's starting to relate the information back, that we may be looking at the same source of this phenomenon.
Yeah.
And that's intriguing. That's intriguing. Whenever we start following that, and we start walking on the shoulders of the greats that have gone before us to see their work, and we build on their work, that we see, wait a minute, there is something, there is a common factor here which we're overlooking. There was a great interview that was done recently there, with two guys in Oregon. Yeah. And they were driving their pickup truck, and they turned the corner, and all of a sudden there's a bloody Bigfoot standing in front of them, on the edge of the road. Now, this Bigfoot was over 10 foot tall.
Yeah.
And by far that's not the biggest. When we consider that a 6 foot man, his walking stride is around 3 feet. If we go back to the likes of the Sierra Nevadas encounters out there, one of the biggest strides that they had, this is a walking stride, not a running stride. The biggest walking stride that they had was 15 feet. That is something which is bloody enormous. You would need a tank to bring it down. So the manifestation of these things don't seem to be restricted by gravity, if you like, or the way that the things have evolved in this planet. These seem to be outside of that. But the interesting part is that this particular encounter with Bigfoot would have been shelved as nonsense 20, 30 years ago, because this Bigfoot suddenly shrank on the side of the road and became a golden orb, an orb which we identify within ufology as well, suddenly elongated and shot off into the forest. Now, wait a minute, there's a phenomena that Bigfoot is now manifesting into something else, which again supports this idea. Are we looking at the same phenomena? Are we looking at something that's originating from the same source? Because these extra bits that are attached onto the end don't fit comfortably into an actual cryptid of the normal type that we know lives in a cave and comes out and has a mother and father and everything else. Something very different about this.
But that theory is becoming more and more accepted, that ghosts and aliens and the cryptids, they're all part of one phenomena, one source.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's, and the big thing of course, where is it coming from? Well, and that's what we think we've cracked in the book.
That's what I was going to ask, because last time I spoke to you, I asked you where the source is, and you said, at the moment, I cannot tell you.
Yeah, well, I can tell you a little bit more if you would like.
I'd love you to.
Okay, it's not coming from space.
No, yeah, you did say look nearer.
It's not coming from another dimension.
Yeah, look nearer to where your feet are, I think is what you said.
So that's where I have to. Those are the two clues. It's not coming from outside the planet, and it's not coming from interdimensionally.
You want to know more? You gotta buy the book.
Yeah. Whenever it's eventually released, I think what I'm going to do is maybe shelve it for a little while, let it rest.
Okay. Let it breathe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if I'm topped off, then I've told my wife, make sure it's a bestseller. And I've been eaten by a sea monster, and make up the biggest story for the biggest book sales.
The greatest story ever.
You floated
the grandchild.
They had to take you out.
What's that?
Said you flew too close to the sun. They had to take you out. You got too close to the tree.
There you go. Yeah. I'm
a bit gutted now, not because of that, because I was starting to go down the path of Bigfoot, of actually being a real, living, eating flesh and blood. I hate that term, but like creature of some sort.
Well, it is a creature, obviously, when it manifests. When the manifestation occurs, then it's open to restrictions within our reality.
Well, is it though?
Yes. Because you see, there are particular things that we can do to bring that creature down, and I'm not going to say what those are. We know what they are. I can't get into it because what I don't want is all of a sudden folks heading out into the woods, having made these adjustments, and then all of a sudden we have a heap of bodies all over the place. So I said, no, I'm not going to discuss what that change would be, but it looks like it would bring it down. Because we're often told of these things that people are shooting at it and everything else, and they'll hear the thuds of the projectiles hitting it and everything else, and it just gets up and walks away. But there is something that we can use that can bring it down. But
I've just put something in the private chat. It's up to you whether you.
Nope, it's not.
Oh, right. Well, if it was, you'd say no anyway.
No. Honestly, I would have said yes.
All right.
If that was it. Okay. But no, it's not. It's not fire.
Anything's worth a try, isn't it?
What else? Chopping their heads off. What works on like vampires?
Highlander.
Yeah.
But there's a similar weakness across all the fields of investigation. Through all the manifestations, they all suffer the same weakness. So that's an unusual one.
So I'm going to be sat here now, silent until I think of what it could be. So I hope you're not in a rush to go anywhere.
We got hours just guessing what's gonna take down.
I was intrigued again by this unusual phenomenon of the Bigfoot. And there was a guy. He was a clinical psychologist, and he had his experience. Now this guy, he was out walking on a track with his family, and they had noticed the smells coming behind them, and thinking that possibly it was a bear, they just kept moving on. But it got to a point where he was cut short, and he needed to use the bathroom, so he went up behind the trees and behind a pile of rocks and went about his business. But he happened to glance over down toward his family who were standing on the trek, and while he did that, that's when he saw it, and he was petrified. Namely because of his family, of course, because it was heading in the direction of the family. It was tracking them. And he got himself cleaned up and went down. And instead of walking on, he turned them around and says, okay, we're done. And never told them why until he got back. And he told the family why. And, this guy's a clinical psychologist. And he was afraid that he didn't want this type of information to get out because it might disturb his customers coming in, his patients. And instead, it was quite the opposite. because it did leak out and the press saw them. And years later after that, there was some local TV stations that interviewed him and things like that. And they could see that he was emotional about it.
Yeah.
But one particular researcher asked him years later, said, "You weren't telling us everything. What are you not telling us?" And this researcher obviously knew. He could see the clues. And the clinical psychologist says, "Well, there is something else that I didn't say." And it scared me because this thing did not move behind a tree and move to the right or move to the left and disappeared behind another tree. It literally appeared, walked, and then disappeared again. And he said that frightened the bejesus out of him. But we also see this style of I suppose camouflage also in the animal kingdom. We've got an octopus that was only discovered around 20 years ago, that the chameleon, that is exceptional. You could walk on this bugger and you wouldn't have noticed him. He's exceptionally good. And for it to only be discovered over 20 years ago, he's doing a fine, good job. Not being discovered. So it's amazing what life is shared on this planet. And it's also very sobering to think that there's a larger carbon footprint of life under the planet than there is on it.
So, how many stories tonight started with a man peeing behind a tree?
That's where it all happens. That's where we're at our most vulnerable.
It has to be like 5 or 6.
We're at our most vulnerable at that point.
Yeah.
Go pee in the woods.
Oh no! What?
But it's one of those, though, isn't it? Like you're saying, you go in, and if something sticks its head out or it steps out in front of you, you're just there.
I think
flow.
The problem with modern storytelling and things like that, we have to be very, very careful because there is the possibility. There's the theory out there that we can create just from thought.
Yeah.
So when we make up stories, like the Slender Man and things like that, then things can start to appear. These archetypes can start to manifest, but worryingly, something can step into that shell of the archetype and utilize that. So that's something we should be very, very careful of.
Yeah,
and
hitchhiker.
Yeah, and we see this even right up into the modern age. It's something that we really need to be careful of. We have to be very aware of what we're actually calling in, and when in times of trouble, we'll race off to our place of worship and we'll pray to whatever. But we really should be asking, well, what is whatever? What is that? Where are the origins of that? Because there's an old esoteric practice that was utilized in Babylon, in which when your home or business or your farm was being pestered by a particular pestilence that was associated with a particular demon or demon, as we would know it today, you prayed for a bigger one, a stronger one, to come in and rid you of the lesser pestilence. We still do that today, if you knew what you were praying to.
I get it now. Or some of it.
So that's what we have to be very, very careful about.
Yeah.
But again, I'm an avid supporter of questioning the phenomenon when we make contact with it. Most times we're going to make contact with it through particular means like Ouija boards and mediums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
those particular types of things tend to be very vague. So that's where it can get away with a lot of stuff. But if you've got someone who's sitting back and is writing notes, that's not part of that particular circle, and seeing the gibberish that's coming out of it and the contradictions, that's where we have to be very, very careful, because we forget the contradictions. What tends to happen, you see, is that humanity has this very unusual thing of amnesia, in which we're told 4 lies and 1 truth. We suddenly forget the 4 lies and concentrate on the 1 truth. And whatever we're communicating with is there for our betterment. Well, that's not the case. And that's something we need to reassure ourselves and secure when we go into an investigation. Okay, what are we dealing with? And how do we secure our position in knowing that, okay, this is true? And that has to be established very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
well,
we're led down.
That's one of the things that I picked up on quite quickly when I started to learn more to what the phenomena is how contradictory it all is. It's just something will happen, and you say something, and in the same sentence you've contradicted yourself straight away, whether it's verbally, physically, not just like everything, like even the environment contradicts itself. And it just doesn't. It's like that can't happen. It does happen, but it can't happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Obviously, you know what I mean. And it's just that messes with your head no matter what. The more you think about it, the more it messes with you. But at the same time, you also get a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, you can get a glimpse at it. But even in the big book, you know, I don't talk about it often, but even in the big book, it says, "Test the spirit that it is of God." You know, therein is the message of the day, to make sure and test it, because Great Aunt Bertha that comes through 9 times out of 10 is not Great Aunt Bertha.
No,
and it's something to keep a watch on.
But people really fall victim to like confirmation bias. So if they get one sign, oh, the name starts with a B, and they're wanting to hear from Great Aunt Bertha.
Yeah.
Like that's her. And then everything that comes after that, they're going to find a way to kind of fit into that narrative.
Yeah, because you want it so much. They want that connection. They feel that, like, not just closure, but it's more they feel comforted by it.
That's right. And the more that we open up to it, in the initial stage, well, the more likelihood that we are that we're going to end up bringing something back which was not a sweetie wrapper. It's and we can end up, you know, that can cause more problems down the road. And we also see this infiltration of this phenomena within groups, and the way they can actually start to manifest and manipulate the groups. Paranoia will start to set in, and they'll start to spiral down. They'll start arguing among themselves. We see this time and time again, with not only within ufology and cryptids, we also see it within the paranormal. Infighting is the next thing. We need to realize and spot the signs of this phenomenon and how it manifests.
Yeah. But that's a tricky bit, though, isn't it? Unless you know what you're looking for.
It's not. Well, there are particular signs which can be you know, trigger signs.
Yeah.
You know, they've always been there, but the problem is now you see like the likes of the way society is driven now, we don't necessarily recognize the spirit world per se, or whatever is beyond that particular veil. Now it's all clinically addressed. And now we can see that the aspects of the phenomena are now classed as psychosis. And whenever you go back, and we haven't got access to these particular numbers within Europe, because what's going on in Europe now is there's huge contradictions shooting off everywhere. to be a researcher, you really got to find your balance. And it's very, very difficult in Europe to find that balance when you're trying to draw these numbers, because many of the numbers are hidden. But in the United States, we see there's a class of numbers that's coming out to show the stark rise in first-time psychosis events within the United States. And it's also noted that the recommendation of particular drugs that would help are not working. Now, the first-time psychosis events tend to be the triggers that we would associate with investigating the paranormal. So we've got this stark rise, but because we're looking at it from a different perspective, a perspective that's not working, it can be very, very problematic. And even when we cross over to the likes of meditation, everybody knows how to meditate. Yeah. There are gurus everywhere to tell us how to sit down in front of a stream and cross our legs and go and do all our thing. But what we're not told by these people who practice is that up to 10% plus can have psychotic experiences that are extreme and can trouble them for up to the rest of their lives because they've attracted something from this other side.
Yeah.
And 10% of normal meditative techniques. What? There was no warning on the label when I went through the door. This is something that we should be addressing. And these are medical reports. There are medical investigations into this to see the episodes that people have. And these episodes, 100 years ago, we already had a name for it. It was called oppression. And so we had identified it, but now there's this movement to quieten it down. Okay, it's happening, but quieten it down.
Yeah.
Don't look there. And but we can't help it. When you stand back and you have a look, you say, wait a minute. Same phenomena, different mask.
Yep. But it's like what you're saying, like with the meditating, as soon as you do that, you're changing your frequency. So you're opening yourself up to something you don't know what it is.
And it's a warning that I put in my book, The Influence, that looks at the biological implications of what oppression can do to the body and how and the signals and drives it's creating and how we can reverse those. But within the initial writing of that book, I was given the warning, don't become too bright where they see you. And I've lived with that right up to now. So once we bear that in mind, it's okay to go into a meditative state and all that. I'm not saying don't do it, but it's better to be pre-warned that this may happen. And then you can address what's going on after. Than going in completely blind and experiencing this and wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah, because I do meditate quite a lot, and I was saying last night I can meditate whilst driving now.
That's the best place that I do it. Yeah.
So when I'm doing like long distance, like country roads and all that, I suppose it's like going on autopilot. But I just shut down and just take everything in, like especially when they're out in the middle of nowhere and there's just trees and fields and lakes and all that, and just take it all in. You don't have to be sat in a dark room with the music going on and humming noises and the little clinky bell things on your fingers and what have you.
Yeah.
It's just whatever I think that you feel comfortable with doing, and I could go straight into it. It's took months to get to that point now. But it's good that you can just literally click your fingers and you're there.
Yeah. And because you're driving, of course, it makes it harder for the spirit because they're running behind trying to attach on.
But as well, you have to know consciously what's going on and still have full control. Because if you obviously, like you're saying, if you let yourself go too much, you're an open book, literally.
Yeah.
Or you crash a car.
And there's nothing worse than opening your eyes and finding the old lady on the bonnet with the shopping going up over the roof.
Yeah. And I won't mind, she was on the back seat.
Oh dear. But yeah, so there are things to consider. There are things to consider going into this. And people could go into this and never have any experience, and that's kudos to them. That's wonderful. But as I say, it's better to be pre-warned than not.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I always think it's fun to find out the hard way sometimes.
Sometimes there's karma or dharma, as they call it. And sometimes, you see these folks that say, oh, no, there's no such. And then suddenly you get a phone call. What's this? And you think, But there you go. That's the way it goes. That's the world.
Yeah.
Mike Millward wants to know, do you think it's the mindset as you enter meditation that can attract the wrong stuff?
No. There can be attachments can occur for no reason whatsoever. The wrong place at the wrong time, and that's all it comes down to. It's being aware of them, being aware of your own who you are. Like, who are you in this moment in time? Who are you? Where are you? Where are your pains?
No
Where are your thoughts? And, being aware of that, and then being aware of something else that something doesn't feel right, and drawing your attention to that, and knowing how to remove that as well, of course, is key.
I think, that is one thing that I have learned from doing all this, is knowing what's going on all the time, no matter what it is you're doing, whether you're driving, watching TV, doing a podcast. You've got to know what's going on in your environment.
Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. And people such as us, and Nicole, you would not, God bless your heart, you have not been introduced to what scarred us growing up. And it was called Ghost Watch. Halloween 1992.
Oh, Sarah
Ghost
Green
Watch.
and Mike Reed.
Sarah Green and Mike. What? Do you know how many children ended up with PTSD out of that?
Someone killed themselves.
Apparently so.
Someone committed suicide. And it was a Halloween. It was a TV show. So Sarah Green and Mike Reed. They was a married couple, and they
That's right. Yeah.
Saturday morning kids TV show.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was.
And the guy from Red Dwarf and all of that was
Craig Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they set up this hot house, and they gone in with a camera crew, a bit like Barry used to do. But they gone in and they set they're talking to the camera, they're doing like a normal TV show, and at one point they go past a living room window, and I don't know if the curtains were shut or open, but it looked like a figure of a boy stood at one of the curtains, and the amount of people that it messed up.
Yeah. At the very beginning of the show, and this was a different time for TV, but at the very beginning they said that this was a drama. But most of the people that viewed in were already viewing in after the initial warning, and there was no warning of this throughout the rest of the show. So it was like the guy from War of the Worlds over in America. This was playing out as people were tuning in, going, "What the hell is going on?" And it was all depicted as happening in real time and everything. Scared the bejesus out of me, I have to say.
And it was live.
I remember that particular Halloween night. After it was over, I thought, okay, I'm going to go out and catch up with my friends and everything else. Yeah. And I opened the door, and it was just sheer fog. And I closed the door again. I said, nope, I'm not going to. Shut the door. Yeah. Oh my God, that was lethal. But you know what? I look back on it now with fond memories and still think that was bloody great. That was fantastic that they were able to do that. Messed a lot of people up, of course, but
was that late 80s?
That was 1992.
Was it?
Halloween 1992.
I was
92 or 82?
92. Yeah.
92. I was 2.
I was 19.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah, it freaked me out. Didn't like it. It was good.
It was good. You know, looking back now.
You can find it on YouTube.
No, I think it was pulled from YouTube.
Oh.
Copyright and everything else. Maybe the BBC didn't want people looking at it again.
Well, the apologies that followed that was.
Oh yeah,
something
it
else.
was off the record, the record. And
And
there was also, I think there was also a phone line that you could phone in and say what you had heard. But on the phone line, there was also a warning to say this is just fiction. Don't worry about what this is. It's just a drama. But we would like your stories of what you have encountered through your life. But because 30,000 people at a time were phoning the switchboard, it broke the system. So no one was hearing the message. So everything was real. And it just accumulated and accumulated. But, you know, even looking at it now, there were parts on it where the child starts speaking in someone else's voice. That was creepy as it still is.
Yeah.
Still is.
That
So
reminds me of the Blair Witch Project. When that came out, everybody thought that was real.
Oh, stop. I was raging with that one. Whenever it came to the end and the one was standing in the corner with her back to the camera, and then it went over, I refused to get up off my seat. I says, I'm not accepting that's the end. That's ridiculous. Oh, I never forgive those people for making that. Well,
Yeah.
There we go.
So I didn't watch that for about 8 years after it had been released. I just,
it was the same as that other one, The Exorcist. We had heard so much about it. It was banned in Ireland, so we weren't able to see it. So years later, I was a teenager whenever I got to see it. I hid behind a pillow expecting this thing was going to, all the stories that existed about it. And I sat and I thought, is that it? Is that what that was all about? Yeah. Of course, I could see disturbing things, from that particular time when it was first made. I could see how it could be disturbing, but not now.
No, I remember Evil Dead got banned, and it was banned for years, and it come out, and I bought on videotape from HMV. I raced back home to watch it, and I'm watching, and it's in the cabin, it's in the woods, and these twigs are getting the legs and pulling them in, and then this thing, right, that they put in the basement, is made out of plasticine. Wallace and Gromit that are graphics and structure than this. I'm like, no wonder it got banned. It's a worse film I've ever watched. It was awful. It was not scary.
Yeah.
And
I'm not one.
Thought was real was the Paranormal Activity movie when it came out, the first one.
Yeah, the lost tapes. That fad for the lost tapes. Once I see it's a lost tape thing, I don't even bother watching it. It's a waste of time.
But that was kind of like the first of its kind, like
it was,
the paranormal.
The second one that got me.
Is that the one with the kids?
That's the one when they're in the house, and it's a kitchen, living room, and stairs, and it's all open plan, and then it's a bedroom. And I think there was more thought put into that to make it more true to life, like it was a camera, like bed, like a nanny cam sort of thing. And it was just too. Even though I knew it wasn't real, it was too real. So, with us talking about that, and obviously because you was in Ghost Hunters International, how does that compare to the way you used to film stuff, or how stuff was filmed that you was in, to how these docu-films
I must say, no one was dragged out of bed, and all of that stuff. Now, there was a lot of phenomena that did happen when the cameras were switched off. There was more happened when the cameras were off than there was when the cameras were on.
Yeah.
And I can remember staying in one chateau and in France, And I always loved it when we were staying in the location. That's what I was always pushing for. Let us stay at the location, because we were usually there for a week for filming. So let us stay there. Let us jail into the place instead of coming away from it and going back to the hotel. So I always was pushing for that. And we had great success when we were staying over. And this particular chateau in France, one of the girls was being held down in the bed. In the meanwhile, while she was trying to fight with that, I had this thing in my room that was drawing the energy out of the room, drawing the power out of the room. And this was being filmed before my camera went down as well. So all of this was going on within this chateau. And underneath the chateau, there was this series of tunnels that were excavated out. And for the life of me, I could never figure out that when you got far enough into this tunnel complex, you came across these iron rails that were there to keep something in. But we couldn't find a way in. And we said, what's going on? What's happening? And two of the girls, they had gone down and they were using EVP. And during that particular time, that's whenever they recorded this woman urged them to leave. And following that, there was this immense growl that was recorded on the audio. It was like a lion was in the chamber with them. Now we ended up we were in the States at the time whenever this show was going to air, because we really wanted to see it, because we had experienced it. We wanted to see how it was portrayed out. I don't know what happened, but the audio, it was more like a pussy cat going meow. That was the last time I watched the show. And I was severely disappointed.
Because you don't get to find out anything until it's aired, do you? You don't know what footage to use.
That's right. It's not up to us which footage they're going to use, but there are recommendations. But it was a mishap with the audio that they had messed up on, and that was a big part for us.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
No, I don't think so. There were kids that were watching the show, and maybe shouldn't have been the situation, because there were things that we wanted to delve into that we couldn't. But we had a fantastic time there. And I tell you what, I lived up to my Irishness. I was a trickster to the top. And I can remember one particular instance, another chateau we were working in, and Joe Chin was working with Scott Tepperman. And I had told the crew and everything else, look, I'm going to lay this story on, so play with it. And I'd whispered to Scott, I said, Scott, when you're going down into the basement, be careful of the French rattler, because if it bites, you won't even see it coming. If it bites, then that's it, game over. There's no cure for this thing. So of course, Scott is coming up from the basement with Joe Chin behind him, and they're having this conversation. What they didn't know is that I was heading onto the spiral staircase with a baby rattle. So as he comes out onto the main floor, you get this, and he suddenly stopped and he said, Joe, did you hear that? No, I heard nothing. Well, I let this bigger, and because it just rattled in through the whole stone complex of this.
Echo free.
Pepperman had made it up those stairs faster than anyone I ever have known. He was such a fast mover, and of course, I was killing myself laughing. Oh my God, I was the biggest trickster. But we did have a lot of fun, and some folks will say to me, well, did you experience life whenever you were out there? Yeah, I was always known to be heading out, and when the crew and everything started to find out, well, where's Barry going? And they all started to attach on. And so I couldn't get away to go and do my own thing. And there was one day, that says, where's Barry going? We were down in Nicaragua. And he's going sandboarding down the side of a live volcano. So I'm in the back of a pickup truck, and all these people from the crew and everything else coming up. Joe Chen looked like death on legs, because he had to walk up the side of the mountain, dragging his sandboard up behind him. He looked like a broken man by the time he got to the top. And we got a phone call at the top of the mountain from LA to say, If you do this, you're on your own. You have no insurance. And we said, "Oh, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. No. We did it." And I broke through the cloud line and came down and got right down to the very bottom. And I turned around, and all I could hear was Susie screaming as she started to break through the cloud, but she hit a bump, and she started to tumble and do the cartwheel. Susie said she could hear me laughing on the base. She busted her ankle, but she was great. She was great. We put some ice on it, and she was fine. So that was some of
I guess she was still laughing.
Oh, she was still laughing. Yeah, well, I was still laughing. Yeah.
That's
Good
great.
times.
Wow.
Good times.
Yeah. No one died.
All right, folks. Well, there's 11 o'clock. Do you want me to?
Yes.
I don't know.
If
All
you
right.
don't mind, I know
That's
I'd love
grand.
you to stay, but
That's great.
we've got the next guest.
Have a great time.
You
And,
too. And
try and stay off the Red Bull.
Yes. For now.
I
For now.
drink. I'm 2 in so far. I got
Fair
2
enough.
left.
Wow. Are you ready for the next guest?
Yeah.
You
Can I
look drained.
I'm good. I just got to grab another energy drink.
Okay.
So
right,
you bring them on. I will be back in a minute.
Yep. Here we go. Hello. Long time no see.
You look like you've been up all night.
I've been up 29 hours.
Oh dear. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching on and off.
Yeah.
Very good.
The first bit's all right. It's just going. It's like Barry on that sandboard. It's going downhill very quick. No, it's good. It's good. Oh, I'll tell you where I drove past yesterday. I didn't realise it was there.
It's sort of a bit. If
Grimes Graves at Thetford.
Oh yeah, what's up there? A little while.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I went past and I
while
thought,
ago.
I'm sure that's where Alex was. Quick question.
Yeah.
Have you got your
interesting
StreamYard
place.
open?
Mm-hmm.
Have you got your other StreamYard open because it's doing what it did the other week?
No. Don't know. Do you want me to log out and come back again?
Yeah, if you don't mind, is that all right? It's just it's gone. It was all right when you first come on, and then it just went.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll log out.
Yeah.
No,
That's cool.
I'll log out.
Right, they will be back shortly. Right, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have a 5-minute nap. No, I'm not. I'm good. Oh, I've got drinks. I've got coffee. I've got energy drinks. I've got vodka. So, and I've swapped the cameras over. I don't know if anyone noticed. That's why it's not zooming out and putting me in the corner and everything else. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 more guests, and we know 2 of them. I keep looking at the clock, and the time doesn't seem to correlate with what time it feels like it is. And I think Alex is. Oh, he's back. So you'll have to bear with me. I just keep looking at the clock, and it just doesn't feel like it's the right time.
Try again, eh?
Ah, that's better. Yeah, so I drove past Grimes Graves at Thetford. So I had a quick look, but I don't think I went near enough to see where it was.
Yes, it's just a massive field. It's just a massive great field. It's been air base,
right.
I think, and there's a few like these great. Well, they're not graves as such. They're I think it's an old mine.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be like, but there's probably graves there.
Yeah, Grimes. Do they need cleaning? Ryan's raves.
Pick me up.
Yeah. Anyone started hallucinating yet?
Not yet.
No.
There's time.
I've got them eye worms.
Try DMT.
Don't need it. Oh, so Alex, what have you been up to since last week?
What, since
Like 2 days ago?
not a lot really. I went back to Rendlesham. I was probably nearly a week, 4 or 5 days after we were there, and I was at Dunwich.
Yes.
And I thought, it's a nice day. I've nothing else to do. I want to drive back down to Rendlesham. And but I've got to tell you, that photograph of mine, the one I've been looking at for 10 years, thinking, what on earth is that behind my daughter?
Yeah.
A friend of mine phoned me a couple of weeks ago, and she's not into this at all. And she said, I think what you got behind you is an Elizabethan person.
Oh.
And I thought, I've been looking it up, and yeah, could well be. Because Rendlesham was, it was called the Angles, the Kings and the Queens. And
yes,
obviously all these, the ancients. And I thought, well, you know what, that's the closest we got so far in 10 years as to what that figure could be.
Ah.
Interesting.
So there we are. You've heard it first on here, Andy.
Yes, exclusive. Another exclusive.
Exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. We like exclusive.
We do.
Oh. One sec. Right, so we've got a question from Og. This is from about 3 hours ago. 2 hours ago, actually. Andy, how do people get on your future shows, please? Chris is asking. Just send me an email. That's it. So it is guest@alienate.uk. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then I'll come back to you with some dates and fit you in there. But we don't have anything till, I think, January now. Yeah.
Mid-January, I think.
Yeah, unless we do it on a Monday. Because we only have Mondays and Fridays now, because we've gone back to Eerie Encounters. He's starting again on the 4th of December.
But wasn't Eerie Encounters every other Wednesday?
Yeah,
or
and then
every
we just thought, just do every Wednesday. Yeah.
I'm on either way, so.
Yeah, so just drop me an email, guest@alien8.uk, and that's it. That's all you got to do.
It's 7 a.m. and I'm eating Doritos because I'm pretty sure these Celsiuses are burning a hole in my stomach. I haven't eaten it earlier.
I'm sorry, but I need to stretch.
This is
stretch and pull a muscle in my back.
I've lost track.
Oh, so what have you got lined up next then, Alex? What have you got going on?
Nothing really.
Because you were thinking of going back into mediumship, weren't you? Like the table tipping as some. I can't remember exactly what you'd said.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do. I kind of give that up. It's like the other day, someone contacted me. I've got any messages? Oh, here we go. No, I haven't got any messages. I don't know. I feel like I went past it, and I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go next, Andy.
No.
I do miss the table tipping, and I do miss some of the physical stuff, but I don't miss getting up doing the normal message thing. I've got to talk about. People aren't interested.
Yeah. Is there a barber in the audience?
So I don't know.
Yeah.
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 No,
Bob says,
I don't know where we're going to go.
No.
I don't know where we're going to go next.
Yes, that's what we need to do. Mondays. Monday could. Monday would be good for investigating, but you'd have to quit work or something. I don't know.
Well, you know, when we
keep going off, keep losing it all.
No, you're back. Yes. Yeah.
I'm back. I think it's me, you know. I think it's me, Andy. I think I'm.
No, it's all right.
Whenever
now.
I come on here with you, something to keep.
I know. Let me check. Let me do a quick check.
Mic check.
I'm doing. No, I'm getting 800 download.
Everybody in my house is asleep. Nobody's on the internet, so.
No, it's not me.
Yeah,
it's you, Alex. We'll blame you anyway.
Let's go. Going all right at the moment. Yeah, blame me. Why not? Everyone else does. So yeah, I don't know what the next adventure is, to be honest, Andy.
You're like 40 miles from the burial of King Arthur.
Well, we've just found it.
So, there's your next adventure.
Is that in Oxford?
Oh.
Why do I think it's in Oxford?
I don't know.
Don't know. I just have Oxford coming to me head.
Have to Google that one.
No, too deluded. I don't even know how to spell.
Glastonbury?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, that's about 150 miles away.
It's a long way, isn't it, from you? A long way from all of us, really.
Probably nearer 200.
Yeah. Yeah, you want somewhere that's not been looked at before, don't you, really? Something new.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Not quite sure where, though.
Well, there's a place in Wales that we're going to, and it's not paranormal. It's a bit out of the ordinary. And let's just say it might be the last thing we ever do. It's a bit Wicker Man-esque. Haverston. Yeah, I know Haverston. My mate lives in Haverston. It's up near Tamworth, up the A5.
Why would this be the last thing you do? If you do the Wicker Man?
There's a place, I can't give too much information away because you're going to think, what the hell have you been smoking? Right? It's a place in North Wales, but it's like Cornwall-y bit where it's surrounded by coast, except the east. And there's a particular place that is surrounded by houses, but we've done some research and we've gone on Google Maps and we've worked out where we can stay to where it is. Between me and Darren, we've worked out a way we can get into it, either on foot or on water, and we can get him round the back and infiltrate it that way. But I can't say too much because people end up working out where it is. It sounds stupid, but this is what I've been told. It's guarded by crows.
So this is my favorite segment of this show, is where Andy tries to explain something without giving too much information.
Yeah.
So
don't give it away.
It's surrounded by crows. It's in a field, and it's creative, should we say. And I know of 4 different people, 2 lots of 2, I think it was, that have been, and they've both been greeted with the same kind of reception as the other. It's very, yeah, you're not coming in here, keep moving vibe.
Interesting.
But there's a campsite, and we worked it out. It's about a quarter of a mile away, and I can safely fly my my drone from there over to where this thing is, and check it out that way. And then in the evening, as it's getting dark, we're going to go down and hopefully don't die.
Sounds good. Sounds interesting.
Not welcome reception by the crows or the people?
Both.
Well, keeps informed. Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
It's yeah. Just you've seen the movie Wicker Man, the original with Edward Woodward.
That's right. Yeah.
It's even though I've not been, I've spoke to the person about it, and that straight away I just get that vibe from it. And because I got that vibe, it's like, yeah, I've got to go. I need to go and find out what it is. So I may get locked up and never be seen again. Might be locked up in a cupboard till I cry and then they paint me.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's never going to get old.
No, never. So yeah, I think that's next on the list. But we're going to do that like after just coming into spring.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Just because of the location of it. That's all.
Yeah.
I want you to go to that farm with the Master Splinter picture.
But I don't know where the farm is.
Just start knocking on doors. Like, is this your farm?
I've lost my dog. Have you seen it?
But there must be when you think about England, well, Britain. There's so many places, mustn't there? To look at that.
Yeah.
God, sort of something a thing come out of the forest on my photograph.
Cannock.
That's Cannock, is it?
Yeah.
Somebody set up a trail cam and supposedly caught this.
Wow.
On the trail cam.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny. After we spoke a few weeks ago, I went back to Renfrew. I've been going there for 12 years now. Nothing's really bothered me in there, apart from when things get thrown at me. But you know that figure that come out of the bushes, that photograph I got of that Bigfoot thing, whatever it is. I actually bottled it, and I gave that a swerve last week, and I went straight down the track in front of me where that woman gone cold now, where that woman come gliding past me. For some reason, and after all these years, I got a bit freaked out about that thing that come out the trees. I'll blame you for that.
What?
Because you said it looks like I know it was a Bigfoot or something, wasn't it?
I can't remember. What did you call it?
I don't know what it.
Dead cat.
Don't know what it was, but anyway.
Squatch camel or something. I can't
Squatch
remember.
Something or other, wasn't it? Yeah. And I thought, well, that's where you heard the footsteps and the. And I thought, I'm not going to go that way today. I'm going to bottle that, and I'm going to give that a swerve, go straight down the track.
Oh yeah, because
when
no, that was a different one.
Wow.
But when I was stood with Simon and Elaine, they I don't know if it's one or Elaine's in the chat. I can't remember which one, but one of them or both of them heard footsteps, but I didn't hear it.
No, it was the first time when we went down there with Mike, you and me, and we heard things. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I've never been worried in that forest, even though I've had things happening there.
Yeah.
And
that was another time somebody went to water the plants, wasn't me?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is the
Anyway.
theme of the night. Stories about men peeing in woods.
Yep. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're obsessed with it. Probably a ritual. That's why we ain't getting anything. And but I don't know. Like I say, 12 years I've been going down there now. Right? I mean, a couple of times a week, 3 times, whenever I feel like going. But I've now come to the conclusion that, and even Derek Savory agreed with me on this. It's not the aliens in there, but there are definitely the ancients in there. And they're the ones that fire those missiles at you. When I say missiles, things that hit you. I've had things hit me in the head. They've had hot stones fall on them. People who have had all sorts of things happen. But, that guy told me, didn't he, leave the ancients and aliens alone. But I haven't. So I think it's them more. There's no aliens in there. They went a long time ago.
That was because of the nuclear warheads.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But I think, when people, I've seen them, what I call them shadow people, I don't know what they are. They're about 5 foot tall. And I think they're the ancients. And I think they're the ones that fire things at you. Bit mad in there, really, isn't it? Because you can have go in there with nothing one day and then go another day and it's mayhem in there.
Oh, here we go. That's his excuse.
Yeah, I was getting older. It was his birthday yesterday. Or the day before.
Is it?
All the birthdays.
Yeah. I think it's everyone's birthday today except mine.
Mine. Mine's in February.
January.
I'm so old. I'm not having any more.
I stopped years ago.
Yeah.
Not bothering again.
I think I'm stopping this year. I don't think I'm going to have one this year.
No. How old are you?
34.
That's just a baby.
But then 35, you have to round up to 40.
Yeah. I'll swap you.
Sure. I'll swap both of you.
I would round down to 30 still.
Yeah. 19. I think I stopped at 19 and then I changed it to 27. Obviously, as I got older, not like at 19, I thought, I shall be 27 from now on. They weren't like that.
When I turned 30, I went to Disney, so I didn't have to celebrate my 30th birthday.
That's a good number, 27. I like 27. Good number.
Yeah.
But I want to, I think I'm going to, when I go down to Rendy again, I think I'm going to have a wander to where that girl told us to go to that butterfly walk.
But there's no signs for it.
No, there's no such thing, is there?
No. But,
that was a week.
So this is my thing now. Was she a real person? Because that dog didn't look too Alfie, did it? That was a bit.
Looked like he died.
The dog was like.
But I told you. She had a car. She had a collar, didn't she? She must be.
This dog couldn't walk.
She must have been real.
Oh.
No, it was wicked making it. No, it couldn't walk.
No.
But that was strange, wasn't it? The butterfly walk. I'm going to find that.
Yeah. Well, Elaine says she's seen it.
And also,
I don't know if she means a dog or a butterfly trail.
Yeah. Well, it's like the disappearing house, that. I've heard about it, but I haven't come across it. Well, obviously, I haven't, because it keeps disappearing.
No, in Rougham, near Woolpit.
Rougham, yeah. But there's, still things in that place that we can find.
Yeah.
Tim is 8 1/4.
8 1/4.
I don't know. I think he's been on the juice. Oh, sorry, one sec.
So apart from this Wicker Man thing, Andy, what else you got lined up?
Oh,
anything?
Yes. I'm going to Knack next weekend.
Oh,
so far to meet up with a couple of people. They're doing some filming, and I'm going to be showing them a place where they can stay legally in the woods.
Very nice.
So, got that. Then I'm either going up to Bolton or back. Oh no, then might be going to Bolton 2 weeks after that. Not sure yet. Over like the West Pennine Moors. But then the week after that, we're going to be doing a meet-up at Knack. I think it's going to be on the Sunday, because I think I'm out on the Saturday. I just keep getting loads of notifications. That's right. Yeah, so I've got them, and that is going to be it up until... They're the big ones, like travelling ones that I'm going to be doing. Then nothing then till next year. Other than doing like meeting up with Tim and doing local ones around here. There's a couple of places that I want to show him as well. There's a church. It's only down the road from here. You got the churchyard and that. There's at the edge of it, there's a wall that drops down. But if you you can either stand or sit on this wall, and it's just all open. So on a clear night, you can see the sky. And we've seen weird lights in the sky there that made no noise, like just green lights. There was nothing. It was just there. It wasn't moving about. And I can't remember what happened, whether it went behind a cloud or it vanished or it shut off. Couldn't tell you. I think I got bored after a bit and we just carried on doing the walking around the cemetery or graveyard.
You got your super duper
night vision. Yes.
Night vision thing. I need to get out. I might even go and look at that church that you passed. You know, down.
Well, it's Snape. Is it Snape?
Snape, yeah, Snape.
Yeah, on the corner.
Yeah, Snape. Yeah. How many times have I been past that? Thousands, and I said, "What church, Andy?" And when I thought, "Oh God, that must be the one." I've passed it so many times.
What? Sorry, Nicole's playing bingo.
Oh.
I have a few more now than I did.
I noticed you keep picking the pad up. I'm not impressed. Yeah, but this church.
I need to call at the end.
This church, it's all open. There's no fence. There's a little wall about a foot high, and that's it. There's nothing else around there, really. And you can park opposite on that little gravel pit.
That's right. There's a little car park thing, isn't there? Yeah, I went to one a few weeks ago. Supposed to see things in there, but I didn't. All sort of tourists, people wandering around, tourists. So I'll have to go down there in the winter and take a few snaps. Yeah.
That's it. It's like people get in the way and ruin what you're trying to do.
I know. I thought yesterday, what should I do? I could go down to Rendy. And I thought, oh no, school holidays will be full of kids. Yeah, noisy people. Yeah. Do you think? I think we're getting old and grumpy, Andy. But I mean,
we? What's his we?
Well, I am. And well,
I've been old and grumpy.
But you're right. You go to take some photos, and kids come there, don't they? No,
just get in the way.
They do.
People get in the way.
Yeah. Sometimes they're living people. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
See, the non-living ones are the best ones because they're the ones that you are having interaction with.
Mm-hmm.
It's the living ones that do your head in.
That's true.
Yeah.
I only have 2 events planned right now. And that is very nice. I'm excited to take a little break because all of September and October I had like 2 events a day.
Wow.
It was really busy. But now I
No.
have one for December and one for January.
And that's
I'm
it.
sure we'll add more, but
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you, which just come into my mind actually, when you go out and do your things, I don't use them, but do you or anyone else you ever use the Ouija? The Ouija board?
Me or Nicole?
No, when you go out on your
I don't.
No, just come into my mind that did. No, I don't either. But
I did once. It did not go well, so I will not do it again.
no,
It wasn't like demonic or anything. It just said something rude.
Oh.
Oh well.
It's probably Alex.
Yeah, that's I was going to say, yeah, blame me. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it probably would be me. No, I'm just curious. I don't even know why I asked that question. But I'm sure some people must go out there using things, tools and that, try and speak. Yeah.
But I just think just by talking and doing it that way just is the best way to do it. Obviously, you need a recording device, otherwise you're just talking to nothing.
I like my BB flashy thing.
Yeah.
My REM pods, my cat balls, my K2s.
Yeah, you need something to know that it's active.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you go. Stuff everywhere in there. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, spirits and things. And I've got enough here with me where I am. And all sorts of things going on. But I just think, well, someone said to me, why do you get nervous? You've had this all your life. I said, it doesn't matter. I still get nervous. People who say, oh, don't worry, and they won't hurt you and all that. And they may not hurt you, but make you jump, don't they?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had this nearly 70 years now, all this activity going on, and I still get jumpy. People don't believe me, but I do. All the things things I've seen, witnessed, and had happen to me, but they still make you jump.
Sorry, no, I'm listening. Fred Flintstone, has anyone blocked him by mistake? Let me check.
Why can we not see Fred? So baby with a laser said, I saw something a bit odd last night. Looked like a meteor, a bright flash with a tail, but it was cloudy.
Oh.
Interesting. So if it was cloudy, then it would have had to be like under the clouds, so closer to Earth than the clouds.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Does anyone know? This is not how it's going to sound. Anyone know what colour Fred Flintstone is? Please don't say he's a cartoon. I meant his name colour.
I have no idea.
I think it's orange, but is it bright orange or dark orange?
Orange? Orange is the color?
Yeah.
I mean, like, of names in the chat, I see black names, green names, and blue names. I don't see any orange names.
No, because he can't get in the chat for some reason. But I'm just wondering if anyone knows what colour. Is he pink?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh.
So how do you work on colours?
So when I put somebody's name in on the you can see people when you type the name in on a particular part of in the settings. But I can't see him. No, he's not that one's timed him out. And he's
Did he accidentally unsubscribe? Maybe you have it as subscriber only.
No, he says he's subscribed, unsubscribed, and resubscribed. So you might have to wait a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's like you have to be subscribed for like 5 minutes to be able to get in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, you might have to wait, mate. But
so only subscribers can chat, can write,
yeah.
can put.
I'm evil like that.
Yeah, we try to bribe them. If you subscribe, then you can chat.
If I did that, I'd have about 3 people talking to me. But I better leave things alone. I was really surprised today actually. I went on, looked at my YouTube thing.
Yeah.
And it said you had 504 views yesterday.
Wow.
Only for the share. And it was that thing because I put that Halloween thing up with me and the mask. So it just goes to show I better wear the mask all the time. It obviously appealed to people, but
you know what? That's a thing now, Alex. Did you know that?
What, wearing a mask?
Yeah. On TikTok, it's a whole genre.
What?
No, this was YouTube. This was on the YouTube short, actually. Yeah,
but
YouTube
still,
short.
same concept. People now have like a weird thing for people wearing masks.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No. Anyway, I didn't like it with that rubber. It was horrible. Smelled
What
horrible.
kind of mask was it? Was it like the ghost face mask?
Yeah, I don't think I can't show it on here. I don't know how it works, but yeah, it's I'll show you my phone. Just thought it, scare a few people. And
right. Sorry, I'm listening. I'm just looking at the chat.
That's all right, mate. Don't worry about us. There he goes. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
All right. I don't know if people have a thing for that mask.
And of course, I said a few words that no one can hear. Anyway, I thought, what? 504 views on my channel.
Wow.
Ooh. So there you go.
Good.
Yeah, never had that. Well, 500. And that's the way it goes. Mask.
Yeah. It's 5 minute wait.
If you watch the views on the live stream, it starts off real strong, and then as it gets later and later, like it dropped off, and now we're picking back up.
Yeah, I've noticed on a Sunday. You think, well, but then I look on Facebook, and I might have had 300 people watching plays. So I don't worry anymore. To do it 4 years, I just think, well, I need something else now. I'm going to find a new venture, because I think once a week.
I know what you should do.
What's that?
Dress up as a druid and walk around Rendlesham.
Yeah, especially when there's kids there. They get rid of them. Yeah.
Location, just try to scare people. Like if there's people walking by, like we were in, a haunted location, and we're up in like the window, and there's like kids walking by, so we're just like.
That's why.
So they go back and be like, I saw somebody waving in the window. It's fun to freak out.
No, I get enough strange looks just looking like I do, let alone the rest of it. But I don't know why, but I do.
That's right. Fred, it's a purple.
I have no idea what you're talking about. He's a purple?
No, he's purple.
Can I just say that I'm running my Ghost Stalker app right now, and do you know what it just said? Birthday.
Go on.
Oh, you got a ghost app, have you? On your on your phone?
Yeah, it's on my phone. It's the one that turns your phone into like a geophone and an obelisk. So it has a word bank of like 10,000 words, but it only goes off if it senses vibration.
you know, on a Sunday, Elaine, she uses that ghost box.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm quite amazed with some of the things that come up. You might be thinking about something, and the word will come up, or you're just about, or whatever you're talking about. And you think, well, it can't all be, there's got to be something in there, hasn't there?
Yeah.
There's got to be something in this stuff, in this ghost box thing. Something just went bang out there. Anyway, I'm always surprised what we do get on there on a Sunday night. And she leaves a big list, puts a big list on Facebook of all the words that have come up.
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed. So have you found Mr. Flintstone?
No. He's probably with Barney Rubble somewhere. He's got to wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, gone out with Wilma for a day. Around the supermarket.
Gone for a dino burger.
Put around Sainsbury's or somewhere. Yeah.
Bronto burger.
No, but yeah, you need to come up here, Alex.
I do, yeah. I do.
You won't be disappointed. Well, you will, but you won't.
When you come to Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Gettysburg.
We're having a mass meetup in Gettysburg next year. Just everyone I've ever spoken to in my entire life is going.
Yeah, that is a place. I've had a couple of guys, one guy in the channel on a Sunday night. But a couple of guys actually who we spoke about Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty lively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
pretty lively.
Just reading the chat.
Eh?
I'm just reading the chat. The nickname put, your next guest is just going to hang.
You done what?
Oh, not again. I didn't think it was that funny. Your next guest is just going to hang backstage. And then Darren's put, phone the Samaritans. Shouldn't be laughing, but I am, because I've got that sort of sense of humour. What can I say?
And also because, we haven't slept in hours.
Yeah, I'm deluded.
Hours.
I've been awake.
Dark.
20, nearly 30 hours now.
See, I took a day off of work to nap before this, and guess who didn't nap?
Me.
Yeah, but you can't always do that, can you?
Sorry. I'll phone you later, Alex, and I'll explain it all when common sense kicks back in.
Yeah. Well, I won't invite you on tomorrow night, obviously.
We were doing an episode, and we were talking about like a painting of a crying boy, and then Tommy goes off on something about this man who locked kids in the cupboard and only took them out to paint them.
Yeah, he'd lock kids in the cupboard till they started crying, and then when you come out, he'd do a portrait of them. I'm like, I'm sober. He put, "What a bit dark there, Tommy." But because I know sober, I know his voice, I know how he would have said it, and like the whole thing behind it. It was the funniest thing ever.
And then Tommy's trying to backtrack. He's like, "You should be locked up," and we're just hysterical.
That was the best line. Was when, I don't agree with what he's done. Like I goes, "Yeah, he should be locked up if he's still around." And we're like, what the hell? It just like come out, and I don't know where it come from, to be honest. It was funny. Oh,
St. Augustine, St. Augustine. That's on my list of places that I gotta go.
St. Augustine, what, in Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oldest city in the USA.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, I was out there like playing music, and I didn't sort of get a chance to go. I did find some. I went to a couple of places, couple of houses, and I weren't doing this sort of stuff. Well, I've always done this sort of been into this, but
Yeah.
When you there is some spooky stuff going on out there for sure.
Yeah.
But I can't go there anymore. I can't fly anymore, so I'm kind of stuck.
You know what it says now, Andy? Eat.
Eat.
Mm.
So how many more hours you got to go, Andy? What have you got now?
8.5.
Have you? I might have a kip this afternoon.
Shut your face. Get off. No, it's all good because I'll sleep better tonight.
Hey, doing well.
And I got to go shopping all day tomorrow. Woohoo!
You got a party to go to.
Well, we're ending this one in about
15.
I tried to give Super Chat, but it won't let me. Weird. His avatar's purple, but he's still got green membership. Right, we're going to be coming out of this one now anyway. It might just be this because it has been playing up a little bit. Might just be my settings, but you've not been blocked. Because
what's that light flashing?
That's right, I'm still there. I'm just checking one thing.
What was the question? Because I can't find it.
What question?
Alex said Alex has a question from Warren, but I can't find it.
Oh, give me.
Oh, I found it. I found it.
Oh.
Does Alex receive reports from aviation enthusiasts that frequented Woodbridge and Bentwaters when they operational basis?
No, I don't. I actually don't. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. Don't think I've ever met any enthusiasts from back then.
No.
I've got to be honest. I've spoke to locals. That's about, I've spoke to locals about stuff.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know. Yeah, to meet people who were there at that time.
Yeah.
Don't know. You might get another take on the story. What happened?
Oh, never know, do we?
Yeah. But I don't know. It may happen again. Depends what they got. Depends what they got stored there, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Just an interesting place to have a wander, really.
Yeah, it's a nice day out. If nothing else, it's a nice day out.
Unless it rains, of course.
Or you get chased by men in black.
That's another story, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I was there. One of the strangest things, I've seen a lot of strange things here, but I was walking back from Eastgate one afternoon, and there was two guys walking down the first track off of that road. And a couple of guys wearing crombies. I thought, what? Who'd wear a black crombie and all suited and booted in the forest? Very strange. So I went past, and then I thought I'm going to go back and have a look. There was only one there. So one of those guys has vanished. So were they men in black or were they, I don't know, spooks? What were they? You don't walk around the woods dressed like that, do you?
Maybe you don't.
I'm afraid to get himself.
Go on to settings. You might have put himself in incognito mode.
How'd you do that?
Don't know. I don't know.
Alex, I sent you the bunker in the tunnels. Did you see it? The video group took. Yes.
Yeah, there's a train line that runs under. So where them big concrete slabs are for the tunnels going down, and they put the bars across, is a train line what they used to transport weapons on underground.
Somebody asked me if I think it might have been you last week, asked me if there was underground tunnels. Yeah, there must have been.
Oh. Sorry, nearly pulled me tooth out then. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of the rest of this show.
Oh no, it's long story. I've got a loose tooth right at the back. It's a wisdom tooth. I just want to pull it out. It's doing me head in. So I refuse to pay extortionate rates for them to injure me. So
do it. Drink a lot of Sambuca, get some pliers, and just pop it out.
I just get pliers. Just got.
I know someone used to do that years ago. God, I couldn't do that. That takes some bold, doesn't it?
Yeah. I won't have any more time I've done it, but during, maybe.
See, that's what we need on our channels. We need friends on there, like dentists and doctors. And
yeah, I know a few doctors.
I have to put an ad.
I'm not ill, so it's pointless.
Yeah, we need a dentist now.
Sorry?
I know a lot of pharmacists.
Same. Yeah, pharmacists and a couple of paramedics.
Midwives.
A couple of paracetamol.
Yeah, got a lot of them.
But talking about getting the underground, it must have things underground, because they took a couple of the airmen, didn't they, underground, and I think that was a Men in Black. But I don't know where these guys with the Crombies vanished to. Very strange.
In the tunnel.
No, this was just walking down that track towards Eastgate.
They got beamed back up.
Yeah, but I've been going there for 12
MI6.
years. It still fascinates me. There's still stuff going on there that I can't explain.
Yeah. Yeah, MIC. Men in Crombies.
Men in Crombies, yeah.
Sorry. I'm getting tired now.
You're gonna have to change that to Men in Crocs, Andy.
Oh, I had me Croc.
Men in Crocs, ladies with funny dogs. Yeah.
They're the best ones you can get. I use them when I go kayaking now. It's easier.
I put mine on when I walk the dog. That's pretty much the only reason I have Crocs.
Oh, they're just easy footwear, aren't they?
Would you go kayaking, Andy?
Joined a sailing club in Northampton. So, but it's too cold.
On the river?
No, it's a massive lake. It's about 7 or 9 kilometers, like right the way around. So, yeah, going there. I got the it's called a Paddle UK license, so you're insured to go on canals and rivers as well.
That's good. I gave up the boat, like that haunted boat, didn't I? Nothing but trouble on there. That was a weird thing.
Yeah,
one thing I regret is that I used to get these little kiddies' fingerprints, like been in black paint or grease, and they were tiny little fingers, and I regret not taking photographs of the fingerprints out. But there was a lot happening on that little boat.
You didn't have a cupboard, did you?
A cupboard?
Yeah.
What, on the boat?
But you kept kids and then brought them out to paint.
No.
You never know.
No, nothing. No, I don't know where these. I just regret not taking photographs.
Walls Vienna. There. Oh well, thank you for coming on, Alex. It's been nice and chilled. It's
a nice
calm so it's good. It's all
good.
good.
And
But
I'm good now because the sun is up. So I don't want to go to sleep.
You've had like 30 minutes of nighttime.
No, it has been hours and hours of darkness.
Of course, you're 5 hours behind us, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock. 4 hours right now. Sorry, 4 hours. Because
you go back next. You go back this weekend, don't you?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's not too bad. 8 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Midday here.
Well, I mean, we have to go till 4:30. My time.
Midday, yeah. When I was asked what time do you want to come on, I went, but make it about 11.
I don't. What, again?
About 11 o'clock I do.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? I'm impressed with everyone who's been on.
Right?
Because
because
the majority of people that have come on, including Alex and Barry and Nathaniel, have the full contact details, like mobile numbers and all that. Not one of them has messaged me or in a phone call to say that they know anything that's going on.
Mm.
How long have you known you were coming on today?
Me? Oh,
5 minutes
I'd have
ago.
to look back at my phone. Quite a while.
Before
I've seen
Rendlesham.
Oh, yeah.
They're all better at secrets than you are. You are not good at secrets, Andy.
No, they are liars. We established this yesterday. They are all liars.
I can actually, if I can find it on here, I'll tell you when it was.
But no, on a serious note,
it is hard to try and keep.
Yeah, but I don't ask questions with that. I just get on with what I'm doing and wait for the next bit, and then I do.
23rd of October.
So
I don't, because it was this, and because I knew nickname was sorting it out. It's like, right, I kept it like in the back of my mind. It wasn't. I knew it was coming up, so I didn't think about it really until like the beginning of the week.
10th of September, Andy.
wow, that's a long time to keep a secret.
Oh my God!
Yeah. What else do I know?
He's been on the show 3 times. I've met up with him.
Yeah,
Nothing. Nothing.
Not a word.
I mean, I am impressed. I really am impressed.
Any of you guys out there with secrets? Just contact me. Oh, and can I plug my show?
Of course you can. You know you can.
thelounge963.com. I've had to put a .com now because other people were using it. Sunday Night Live. I sometimes have a guest on called Andy Codes. Don't know handy. And
now and again.
Yeah, if anyone wants to come join us, different guests each week. I just saw, Oh, that's it. That's the one.
Go.
So I .com'd it now.
Yeah, I did that without even typing anything.
That's why
10th of September, eh? It's a long time ago, and it keeps.
I know.
That is.
See, I don't know whether I should. I said I'm impressed and like you all not saying anything, but then I think, should I be worried now that all these people are keeping secrets?
We know things.
But it's good secrets. They're not bad secrets.
No. But I've met up with these people. I've had telephone conversations and
did you ask them, are you on the 24-hour show?
Nope.
What?
So they
what show's that? Exactly.
Yeah, did not
Just
ask
say what
anybody.
Show?
They didn't lie.
Nope.
Well,
I don't want to play poker with Alex, put it that way. Because I ain't going to win.
Neither am I, mate, because I don't know how to play it. I can't even play Monopoly.
Right. Well, we are going to have to end this now.
Yeah, because we got to switch over to the next
well, it's
one.
nice seeing you guys. I'm gonna take a break now, a bit of lunch, and probably have a little rest.
Enjoy.
Yeah. I just got a message for Simon.
Yeah, he won't talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, Andy, I'll see you when I see you.
Yes. Hopefully not too soon, not too long.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
And
half asleep. Yeah.
See you later, Nicole.
Go take a nap.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We cannot. So you go take a nap for us.
Yeah, I'll tune in tomorrow night. I always do.
Yeah. Come have a look.
Aye.
Okay, guys.
Right.
Thank
you for coming on.
Yes.
You are more than welcome.
Always nice talking to you.
Yep. Right.
See you later.
Cheers. See you later. Right. So we're going to end this now, and then we're going to go over to part 6.
Part 6.
So 3/4 of the way through.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So hopefully.
I got my energy drink.
And we'll see Fred in the chat. Fingers crossed. It might just be this one that you can't get in. So see you in about 3 minutes. Bye-bye. Oh, forgot you got
Goodbye.